Let's make sure it works. All right, it is live. Yeah. Yeah, I just need this. I don't have any sound. There we go. Steve Johnson. We're live, dude. Let's get on camera.
Matt Winston. Let's do this.
So we're going to stand in front of you rudely. Actually, we can be right here. Okay. Hey, guys, you are live in the Stan Winston School of Character Arts booth at Son of Monsterpalooza in Burbank, California, and I'm standing here with the legendary, and I don't use that term often. Yes,
we got to say this. Live from Burbank, it's Monsterpalooza!
Live from Burbank! Yeah. And we're here with Steve Johnson, who needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. This man is an absolute legend of makeup effects, an icon, an innovator, a visionary. You've seen his work starting back in the day on American Werewolf in London with Rick Baker. He went on to start his own thing. With Boss Films, you did Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Yes, then you did your own thing. Fright Night.
Poltergeist 2.
Poltergeist 2.
Big Trouble in Little China. You're screwing me out of my credits here, baby.
No. Let's go. Let's go. The Abyss. Species. It's endless. This man, like I said, does things that no one in the industry has the audacity to try, and you're going to see him do just that today with the help of his assistants. Would you introduce everyone, Steve?
Yes, the fabulous Miss Megan Areford, Johnny Leftwich, and our wonderful model here, Lauren.
And it's going to get crazy in here. I am going to be off camera taking your questions. You guys, this is a live broadcast, and in the comments of the video you're watching or of the broadcast you're watching right now, type in anything you want to know about this application, about makeup effects, about Steve's career, and we are going to be asking him questions all day long. This is about you guys connecting with this guy. So I'm going to walk out. Steve, it's all you. Why don't you set the stage for what we're going to do today?
Thank you very much, Matt.
All right.
Mr. Matt Winston.
Woohoo!
So today, what we're going to do is we're going to take our lovely model Lauren here, and we're going to turn her into a kind of a pruny drown victim. Not a bloated drown victim, because that would be kind of mean. Look how pretty she is. But you know, how would you been in a bathtub for a while? Your skin gets pruny. We're going to do that to her arms and her face and neck, and probably not worry about the legs, because I think we have 3 hours there. We lost a little time. Are we going to 2.5, Matt?
Yeah, we'll go. How long are we going to go?
4 or 5 hours.
As long as you can go.
As long as I can.
When you poop out, if it's 20 minutes, we're done.
I'm
if it's 3 hours,
I'm done now. I was up late last night, but it was great working with you guys. Well, the thing about doing a makeup like this is, the really fun thing about what we're going to show you how to do today is that it's really a simple technique, and it just so happens that this is Halloween coming up, and you kids can do this right at home with everyday, ordinary household materials. And I'll explain the materials we're using as we go along. We did this makeup first about a week and a half ago down at YouTube Space LA for a short film. Is there anything I need to say about the short film that we...
Go ahead, spill the beans.
Well, I don't remember any of them. But the Winston group got together with YouTube and created and brought the monster makers in and allowed these YouTube kids that are kind of stars on YouTube to use the space down at YouTube Studios and do these amazing makeups with a bunch of really cool people like these guys. So we've tested this. We tested it twice. Which is really important. You've always got to test your makeup, because particularly when you're doing something that's as ridiculous as what we're doing, which is not necessarily a common technique, you never know what's going to happen. So we tested it twice. We shot it once. Today's the 4th time, so we might just have it together this time. So I don't know which camera I should be looking at.
There are no cameras.
So, yeah, why don't we get started?
This is your audience at home.
Audience at home.
I'm recording it because we're going to show everyone later.
Okay, very good. Okay, good. Got it. The important thing about doing makeup is to have fun. So we're going to have some fun now. Our model might not have fun, but we're going to have fun. What we're going to do is we've taken methacellulose, and which methacellulose it's a powdered product that's used in a lot of, it's a food thickener or a food additive, and it's kind of what KY jelly is. So we mixed up industrial grade methacell, and we've tinted it with acrylic paint. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a really organic technique here that is kind of born of doing the makeup quickly because I'm lazy, but it's also because we're not airbrushing the makeup. which is typically what you might do on something like this, or hand painting. What we're doing is we're mixing translucent gels and letting them build upon each other in layers. So we've got 4 colors we're going to work with, and I think we should just start it. Let's just get this party going, kids. Let me start on. I'm gonna. Can you see her forearm here? I'm gonna start by just mixing the palette and showing you guys what we're doing, and then I'm gonna let these guys each take an arm. So, if I go in, John, to do a test on the arm, you can see it. Nice and tight.
This can see it.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, let's start with this one. Again.
Yes. You want to sit on one of those on either that red toolbox or that Pelican case just for comfort? You want to sit on that Pelican case? You may.
Again, if you want to.
When you come into work, I mean, not right now. I mean, when you come into work. In order to. I missed that.
Again, if you want to do this at home with simple materials that you can get, you could just use KY and tint it with acrylic paint. So what we've found is that if you take kind of a maroony purple color and just casually dab it around, really haphazardly, and then take a nice, tasty pale flesh color. And liberally apply that on top. If we're close on this, what you're going to start seeing is stuff that would take an airbrush or another technique an awful long time. And here, all kinds of magic just happens automatically. Then for a little added spice, we're using a touch of a dirty yellow color. Not too much. And again, what you'll see happening here is you're getting some effects here of translucency that would really take a long time to create another way. Although it would probably be more comfortable for the model, it's going to give you a really different look. And last but not least, you seem fascinated, John.
I can't believe you're doing experimental stuff.
We're making it up as we go along. A tasty, muddy, brown, green mold color, which will really pop. We don't want to put too much of this stuff on because that would be too disgusting. But you can see if I kept my mouth shut while I was doing this, this could have been done in literally half the time. Okay. So that's the general idea. We're going to slather her up, and I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, you could film that right there. We are filming it. Okay, so I'm going to ask my lovely assistants to get going. I do think, though, and I think if you maybe you each start on an arm. I'm wondering if this is in the way. We don't want to just lose it and put some paper towels on there.
This is Steve. I got your first question. I have a few questions here, but I'm going to ask this one because it's kind of funny considering who's helping out today. What are your thoughts on Face Off? This is Sir Nemanja Pro. What are your thoughts on Face Off and the winners of that show? Have you ever considered hiring some of them?
Yes, absolutely. That's funny that you mentioned that because some of you viewers may recognize Miss Megan Areford here from season 1 on Face Off. Right there, season 1, Face Off. I think the show is great, Matt. I think there's a lot of really great things about it. There's a lot of up-and-coming talent. Some of the people this year are really, really blowing me away. And I'm addicted to the show. I like it, but I think just like what you're doing with the Winston School, it's bringing this into the public eye, and it's keeping people aware of it, and it's renewing the interest of the public, in this kind of stuff. And I think that there is actually, you guys just go, pay no attention to me. I think that there is a huge upsurge in interest now for practical handmade effects. It's almost like there's a nostalgia for it. It's a little bit of a backlash from overly done digital effects that are in every movie we see these days. And so things like Face Off, I think, are really healthy for the whole business.
Did you want to jump in about the veins?
Yes. So yeah, it's going to be as surprising to us as it is to you how this thing evolves here, because each time we've done this makeup, we've done it a little bit differently, just kind of honing our skills and making the technique work better. So one of the things that I wanted to do, again, it kind of goes along the lines of not overdoing the makeup, doing it really quickly, making it simple. But it also is incredibly effective. What I've got here is yarn. And I'll show you how I made it really thin. This is a regular piece of yarn. It's kind of a maroony brown color. And if you untwine it like this, you end up with something that's very, very, very thin. Now, this is a great trick to make veins. And again, once we put our outer skin on this, it's going to look really translucent. Let me just check our drip there. It's not dripping too bad. That looks good. We're going to want to use a lot of the light flesh color too, when you go over it. But the idea is this. If you then take the yarn and tear it like that, tear it at both ends, maybe wet the ends to get them into a nice fine point. What you can do is just stick it right on. Can the camera see this okay? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And look at that, presto, a vein. And you could do, and I'm going to put a little bit more flesh on top of it.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
We have a great question from Stephen Buono. Welcome to the broadcast, Stephen. I know you've been hanging out with us quite a bit. I've always learned and been told that if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying. How do you feel about that? Is that a common thing for you as well?
Yes, I screw up all the time. You know what they say? The best opera singers say it's better to go for the high note and fail than to wallow in mediocrity and play it safe. I think that I always, with my company, encourage my team to really brainstorm and to really go out on a limb and go past your comfort zone, because that's where some real genius happens. And yes, you've got to be a little bit crazy when you've got, you're working on a $200 million film and you've got a technique that's not necessarily 100% tested. But that's where a lot of magic comes from. We've done a lot of that stuff on your show, actually, on the episode we did for you, Bill Bryan's plastic bag technology. That stuff just came out of left field, and we ended up using it in many, many, many films. So yeah, I absolutely could not agree more. So back to the vein. Look at that. Can you see that? It's pretty cool and pretty quick. And then when we put our plastic, which we'll get to in a moment, on top of that, you'll see there's yet another layer of translucency. How's that feeling, Lauren? Is it cold? Oh, when we did this at the YouTube space, it was 20 below zero. This is nothing compared to how cold it was there. It was really, really cold. And then we had to bring space heaters in, and then it was too hot, so we were just not comfortable all day. This looks like it's going to go really quick. That's the point, isn't it? Fast, fast, fast. There's so many different ways you can do something like this. You don't have to use KY or Methacel. Dick Smith, actually, many, many years ago, in the 60s, I believe, in his Monster Makeup Handbook, did a similar technique to this, but he used K-Ro syrup.
It doesn't work.
Just clear
K-Ro syrup. If you can get it going, great.
And used tissue paper on top of that. So one thing that, and when we did ours for the YouTube space short film, we did actually use tissue paper, because we tried a really horrific technique, which we're going to show you today. But what we did as our test for the YouTube short film is we took saran wrap, very, very thin, everyday, ordinary household saran wrap. And I don't know if you can see this. It's no.
Pause, Steve. We got a little sound moment there, Steve. Hold on. Hey guys, we have a little issue with Steve's pack. Bear with us. I see some great questions coming in. Stefan Dahlberg, we're going to get to your question about this technique versus airbrushing. Monkeys, we're going to get to your methylcellulose question. And Red Clark, thanks for joining us. We're also huge, longtime fans of Steve, and we're very, very lucky to have him today.
On that color.
There we go. We have Steve
See
back.
how the really light spots are going there?
Hey, Steve, we have a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
Let's start with Stefan Dahlberg. Why is this technique better or prioritized from airbrushing techniques?
Well, that's a good question. It's not better. It's just different. And again, like we talked about earlier, trying different things, a lot of times happy accidents happen. And in my opinion, if you airbrush this, it might take longer. And it wouldn't look quite as translucent. This is also going to be pretty easy to clean off. Again, I don't know, after our experience with this, that I would necessarily do this for a feature where you needed to do it day after day, because it's kind of fragile. And I'll tell you the history of it, actually. Besides the original Dick Smith Karo syrup and tissue paper, where this idea kind of originated from, or was stolen from, but you know what they say, talent borrows, genius steals. We did a film, the Mick Garris directed miniseries version of Stephen King's The Stand. Oops, but we didn't do this on that. But we did do that one too. We also did The Shining. And we had the woman in room 309, 219, whatever, the drowned woman. And Bill Corso, Oscar-winning, Academy Award-winning Bill Corso, is an amazing makeup artist and a great guy, came up with an idea to use saran wrap. The idea was that the woman was in this tub, and Mick Garris, the director, wanted the water to look very, very fetid and just awful and nasty and murky. And so Bill did a couple of really neat things. First of all, he used KY to attach saran wrap, and the thing about it is it moves. It really moves. You'll see when we start putting the saran wrap on, you'll get wrinkles and tendony things that are really interesting that you really couldn't get any other way with a sculptured appliance. Room 237. I'll never remember that. And the makeup worked really good. We did it on Mick Garris's wife, actually. We did a standard foam rubber prosthetic on her face, but on her arms and on her legs, we used a technique very similar to this, and it was just, I've always absolutely loved it. And so I stole it from Bill on this. The other thing he did that was really absolute genius is to make the water look absolutely awful. He took shaving cream and dyed it with food color, like, again, some really murky, horrible colors, and put it in the water in the bathtub. And it just looked god-awful, deep browns, moldy colors. And so she got into the bathtub, and when she got out, because she gets out and steps toward the door slowly in the scene, the shaving cream stuck to her and ran down, and it was just awful. And again, easy materials to use.
Hey, Steve?
Yes.
On this, about the methylcellulose, Monkeys Must Die 777 wants to know, does it harden or dry? Also, how do you get it off at the end of the day?
Okay, it does. It will harden and dry, depending on how thick it is. It'll last longer when it's thick. The thing about it, though, since we're encapsulating it in saran wrap, it's going to keep its moisture a lot longer. When we did the other version of this, which was tissue paper, that didn't seal the moisture in very well, and so it did dry and it started cracking a bit. But you can't screw up a dead person. There's so many ways to fix it. If it cracks or splits, sometimes it looks better. You go in there with some dark browny blood color, and it looks great.
This is from Red Clark. Steve?
Yes.
Huge, longtime fan of Steve, and he is so great at talking about the effects and making the process like storytelling. Thanks for sharing and being so generous with makeup information, Steve.
You bet.
Another one here from Jeffrey McDowell. Many makeup guys always say what others in the past were their influence. Who was your major influence in makeup effects when you got started?
Oh, wow. Well, there are just so many. I mean, Dick Smith, I just could not believe the talent that this gentleman was throwing out of his little basement studio in Larchmont, New York. the thing that actually got me into the industry was Little Big Man. And I don't know if a lot of the viewers are familiar with that, but it's an old film that came out in the mid-'70s, I believe. And Dustin Hoffman played a character at a very old age, almost 120. And he also played himself as a teenager in the film. And I sat in this darkened theater, and with my jaw hanging open, I just could not believe that this was the same actor. And I think it was probably the most extreme age makeup ever done up to that point, maybe still is. And from that point on, a light switch flicked in my head, and I was absolutely determined to figure it out. Failed miserably at first, but that's what you got to keep doing, you know. I mean, my first makeups were awful. I ordered Dick Smith's makeup handbook, which it came out in the late '60s, I believe, and I went straight to the back and tried the most difficult one, and it was an absolute utter failure. But then, you know, instead of giving up, I just said, you know what, maybe I'm not great at this yet. I've never done it. So I went to the beginning of the book, and I started doing the simpler ones, building techniques and moving forward like that. So Dick Smith absolutely got me started in it. But then later, my God, your dad, Matt, Stan Winston's done some of the most absolute astounding work that you could never even imagine. Rick Baker, I worked with Rick for many, many years. Rob Bottin, Greg Canham, all these people have, there are different things. Artistically, they have their own specifications and their specialties. Greg Canham is just amazing at subtleties and character work. Rob Bottin, oh my God, you know, I like to think of myself as the poor man's Rob Bottin. I'm so influenced by him, just the crazy way out ideas he comes with. So many people. And of course, Rick Baker mentored me for many, many years. I worked with him on American Werewolf in London. And that was my first film with him, go figure, and then kept going all the way through Greystoke, Videodrome, a lot of films. So, yes, my influences basically are everybody. How's that? That was a long answer.
Hey, Steve, we have a question.
I'm trying to work here, Matt. You're killing me.
Well, this is a live broadcast, man. You got to respond to the people. All right, so we have another question here from Red Clark.
Red Clark.
You guys rock. Does Steve have a fun memory or incident where he saw an audience respond to an effect you created? Like in the theater there with the audience, what was the best reaction you got out of an audience?
That is a great question. I'll tell you, for me as an effects artist, my favorite part of the whole game is to sit in the theater and watch other people's reactions. It's kind of the feeling I'm absolutely certain that a magician has. You know, it's absolutely thrilling to get it to me. It doesn't matter how many early morning calls, how many late nights, how many around-the-clock sessions to get this stuff to come to life. But it's that moment of fooling them that I work for and is really satisfying to me. You know, I kind of liken practical effects really to magicians because when you go to see a magician perform something live, let's say he pulls a rabbit out of a hat. You know he didn't really pull a rabbit out of the hat, right? You know he tricked you. And that gives you a connection to the illusion because you want to try to figure out how it was done. And I think that that's something that's kind of missing with digital effects because no matter how good they are, at this point audiences usually believe that the thing was most likely created digitally. So that really is my favorite part, is connecting with the audience that way. And I have to say, I did a film called Dead Heat in the early 80s. And we did a pretty interesting effect. There's a woman who deteriorates. She falls apart. And on one of her hands in the movie, when you see the movie, the shot goes like this. The camera moves in very slowly on her hand, and her hand looks like a perfectly normal human hand. And as the camera moves in, rotted holes start to open up on her hand and fingers, and then the flesh tone starts melting away into this wonderful, organic zombie paint job. How the hell do we do that? I mean, it's people to this day stop me and say, because remember, there was no digital help back in the early 80s. So how we did it was we started with the camera in the final spot, a close-up of the hand. We had already painted the hand, spent hours doing a wonderfully detailed zombie paint job. And we had several wound appliances, and then we ran little strings under them to pull them closed. So then we pulled the camera back, and as we pulled the camera back, we had airbrushes with flesh tone stationed right outside of the camera's frame. So as the camera slowly moved back, we airbrushed the tone back to human, and we released the holes. So then we reversed the film. So when you see it in the movie, the camera moves in, the holes open up, and the hand turns into this incredible paint job. And yeah, in the theater, people were just blown away, and still are to this day. Boy, I'm talking a lot. This is very different than the last one we did, huh, Matt? I'm on my game.
Love it. Love
All right.
it.
How about
This
those
is the
veins? How's
Steve.
that coming?
This is the Steve we know.
Yeah, this is because I've got assistants doing this thing. I'm not worried about it. Now I know it's going to work. I was panicking last time. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to fall off. It's not going to work. I'm going to make a fool of myself on live television. I'm doing it again anyway, aren't I? Let's go. Okay, more questions.
Yeah, we got some good ones coming in here.
All right, cool.
First of all, Ryan Morales gives a shout out to fellow Savini alumni Johnny and Megan. Look great, guys. Also, Antonio D. Jones, 123, says, hey guys, it's Antonio Jones. Wish I could be there to join you. Hiya, Steve. Hope you're well.
Hey there.
Okay, we have a great question here from Harper SFX. Hey, Harper. We've been hanging out with you quite a bit. Hi, guys. For new people trying to get into the industry, is there anything that stands out to you in a portfolio?
Yes, a couple of things. Variety of work. That's always really good. To not just have a book full of gore. Almost anybody can do gore these days. You can buy stock appliances at makeup effects places. You can order them online. And when you pour blood on something, the reaction that gives the audience is not one of fascination. It's not one of, oh my God, I can't even figure out how this is done, and I'm fascinated by it. It's one of, I got to look away from it. So, I mean, how easy is it to make somebody look away from something? So a little gore is good if it's tasteful and done well. But it's tasteful gore. It's just a matter of having a variety of things. And the other thing is the portfolio should not be too long. It should be your absolute minimal amount of best work. So if you have 3 old age makeups, put your best one in. Always have a before and after picture. And lastly, if you see someone at a convention, don't bring a family photo album this big and attack them while they're trying to have a drink at the bar. That one was for me.
Hey, Steve, we have a question that's about the makeup. Michael of the Sea asks, have you ever done this sort of technique with Gel 10? If not, would you?
Yes, actually, that's a great idea. I didn't even think about that one. You see how many techniques there are here? Yeah, that's good. That would be a good one. It might be a little bit more sturdy, but you'll see as we put this on, it's all going to work out. Have faith.
Hey, Steve?
Yes.
Cameron Willega wants to know, what is the latest on your movie Nightmare Cabin? I know everyone at Savini was working very hard on it.
That was such a wonderful, wonderful experience at Douglas Education Center and Savini's special makeup effects program. I went there for about a year and taught some wonderful students. Mr. Leftwich was one of them. And what they came to me and they said, what do you think our school's missing? How can we make our school better? And this was about a year and a half ago. And I said, well, what you're not really teaching them, and I don't believe any makeup school is teaching people at this point, is what it's like to really be under the gun when you're on set. Because to do something for your portfolio is one thing, even if it's going to be judged and graded for school. But when there is no pressure like the pressure on set. I mean, if you're working on a big budget film and you get on set, the game changes enormously. And so I said, let's put these kids in the hot seat. Let's give them a deadline. Let's give them a limited amount of money, just like it is in the real world, and a limited amount of time, and we're going to, by God, stick to this budget, stick to this schedule. They'll learn how to schedule. They'll learn how to, take ideas from a script, from the written word, all the way to the screen. And so we made a wonderful short film called Nightmare Cabin, and it was just a great, great experience. And it's just got released on YouTube now, but don't watch it yet. And I'll tell you why. It doesn't. The version that got released on YouTube does not have the credits in it, and it's unfortunate because all the kids that worked on the show should have their credits. Remember, Johnny played the Grim Reaper in it, actually. And it turned out really well. I played because I'm such, as you can tell, such an attention, can I say whore? Such an attention whore. I played the lead character. And I was tormented. There were 15 kids in the class, and I wanted to give them each something they could be proud of, point to the film and say, I did that from start to finish. And so I actually played several characters in the film myself. A fat man, a guy that was killed by spider attacks, a guy with a a guy with a penis for a nose. What else did I play in that movie? I don't remember.
You said fat guy, right?
Fat guy? You said fat guy. You said a bat guy. No, not bat guy. Oh, a Mr. Hyde, wonderful Mr. Hyde character. I'm forgetting them now with all the hubbub going on here, but there were many, many makeups. So yeah, it's on YouTube, but don't watch it yet. By the way, Johnny is absolutely brilliant as the Grim Reaper. He's fantastic. You might notice he's about 7.5 feet tall. That's one of the reasons we wanted Johnny to play the part. Actually, you probably can't tell on camera. You're probably only seeing this much of him. Huh? All right, and then... Now, Megan, let's not
I got
forget to
another
tear the
question
end,
for
okay?
you. Sorry.
Let me see if you tear it. Does
Lots
it
of questions for you,
you can
Steve.
leave that one, or you can redo it. Yes, Matt, I'm good. I'm thrilled. I'm not having to get slime on my hands. Keep them coming.
Why don't you actually bring us up to speed on the progress of the makeup? Let's say
Okay.
some good close-up shots, Jake.
Okay.
And let's bring that up to speed, and then we'll ask some more questions.
Okay, excellent. The first question, I'd like to ask a question of my assistants here and me. What the hell are we doing? What's next? I mean, are we doing the whole all the way around?
Yeah, well, I was thinking once she finishes with the veins over there,
Yes.
maybe we could switch and she can do the veins over here, and I'll start
Okay.
off with the saran wrap.
Well, but the thing is, can you raise your arms for a second? Yeah, we got to make sure we get the bottoms too.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then I'm sorry, I'm just getting myself caught up here, Matt. Okay, you can drop your arms, Lauren, please. So we'll start. We'll probably have to pull this back, slime a little bit more in there so we can, and then just start piecing it on, right, all the way down. Okay, so what was the question, Matt?
Sorry, Steve. my mic's off.
Oh.
Mic's off. What is the most stunning makeup effect you've ever achieved? This
Oh,
one
good
comes
Lord.
from. This one came from Jeffrey McDowell. Your most stunning and complex makeup effect.
Well, I like to think that they're all the most stunning. The thing is, in the business, I like to always top myself because I think, and keep myself interested, right? You do this for 20, 30 years. At some point, you're like, how many times are you going to paint a pair of teeth, right? So this is why I try to, think kind of outside of the box. And so I think, and keep myself interested and excited. So, because I know if I'm excited by the effect, the audience better be, because it's just a part of a movie to them, but it's my whole life. So I mean, I have to say my standard answer for that question, Matt, is the aliens in the abyss, because again, this was done in the late '80s or early '90s. I can't quite remember because I'm getting senile. Thank you. The reason I feel so good about that and so accomplished is because it was virtually impossible. Absolutely impossible. When James Cameron came to me, he said, what I want you to do, Steve, is I want you to create the most ethereal, beautiful aliens ever created.
Did you just ask the any suggestions?
And I said, great, that sounds great. And he goes, and I want him to work underwater.
Okay.
I want to shoot him underwater. And I said, and I'm actually underwater? And he goes, yes. And he goes, and I want them to self-illuminate, change colors, light up like a damn Las Vegas street sign. Okay, I'll try that. That sounds great. It was a James Cameron film, for God's sake. And on the long drive home from his office, I kept thinking, now wait a minute. Wait just a minute here. James Cameron has already worked with the fabulous Mr. Stan Winston on 2 films. Why isn't Stan working on this movie? And later, I found out that James called up Stan, gave him the same spiel, and Stan hung up on him because it was impossible. But like an idiot, I thought, okay, I'll figure it out because Rick Baker taught me there's always got to be a way, And 6 months into the project, I didn't have a way. It wasn't working at all. I would go to my office, and I was running out of money. I'd go to my office and lay on the sofa and just try to think of the most painless suicide techniques possible because, if you screwed up a movie back at that time, there was no digital fallback. Not only could you not enhance it digitally, you couldn't, if we didn't have any aliens on set, the movie went down. The whole movie. And it would be my fault. And that's a lot of pressure. So ultimately, I went back to Gail Ann Hurd, who was producing the film, and I said, Gail, we ran out of money. Flame shot from her nostrils. Her eyes turned into reptilian slits. All her paperwork smoldered. And she's like, well, what do you want me to do about that? Write you a personal check? And I'm like, well, we're not going to have any aliens if you don't give me some more money. James keeps making changes, and I can't keep up with it, and I don't have any more money, and we're not going to have any aliens, and I just don't even know if we can make them. And we were like 3 months out of shooting. So she finally gave me the money. And what actually happened is Mr. Cameron himself is a very, very good effect. He has a great effects mind. He's a true genius. And he came to our rescue, and he helped us. Once we had an approved design, we figured out to light them with fiber optics. We found a material that we clear and work underwater. And but he kind of came to our aid in the puppeteering devices. The puppeteering devices were huge. I mean, one of them weighed almost as much as a ton. And the tank was crazy on top of this huge, like almost a 1 million gallon tank that we shot them in, with 40 puppeteers on top working all these aliens in concert. So James is really cool, and I just feel so accomplished. You're getting slime on me, for God's sake. There's always slime when effects people are around. I just felt so accomplished that there's no giving up with effects. You have to figure it out. And to this day, I think the movie is really great, and I think our aliens shine in it, and I'm really, really proud of that. And I'm actually very thankful that Mr. Cameron came to our rescue. And even though I'm sure everybody's heard that he's a very tough drill sergeant to work for, he actually makes you do your best work. And that's my story. How about a big round of applause for that one? Okay, look at us go. Well, look at them go. Looking great.
Steve, you have another question from Abigail Kate Makeup.
Yes.
Any suggestions for people starting off sculpting? What's the best to start off with?
Yeah, there's a couple of answers to that. I think that the thing that you need to realize as a sculptor, particularly a beginning sculptor, is confidence. As with everything in life, is absolutely key. It's the most important thing. And what gives you confidence is starting to like your work. Well, how do you start to like your work if you suck? You keep going. I mean, I was the worst sculptor in the world when I first started. I mean, it was unbelievable. But I started at a very young age. I started at 13 or 14, so by the time I met Rick Baker, excuse me, I had had a few years of honing my craft to show him. I met him when I was about 16 in Houston, Texas. He was speaking at a convention. So continuing application of the process will also, besides giving you confidence and build your skills, it's going to do the key thing, which is to make you a faster sculptor. And I think that's really key, and a lot of times people don't necessarily get that. Why I think it's key is because the faster you sculpt, the less you're going to fall in love with your sculpture. And it's a real problem to fall in love with your sculpture. I mean, if you obsess over something for days, weeks, sometimes months, what's going to happen is you'll stand back and look at it and you'll go, that took me days, weeks, or months. I'm not going to change that. It'll be more days or weeks or months. But you can't fall in love with it because you also lose your objectivity. The faster you work, the less you'll fall in love with it, less willing you'll be to make changes. And I think some of my favorite artists from across all artistic realms are the fastest ones. H.R. Giger, if you take a look at some of his work in his prime, he was a very fast painter. He used stencils. He used every trick in the book. And look at the body of work he did. I mean, he couldn't have obsessed over those things. One of my favorite writers, Cormac McCarthy, the gentleman behind The Road, actually types on a typewriter to this day. He won a Pulitzer Prize for The Road. And here's the interesting thing about that. It was his first draft. He didn't obsess over it. He knew that when he was channeling whatever magic helps channel all of us artists, that his first inclination, his first gut reaction, or his gut instinct would be the best. This is why he types on a typewriter. He can't go back and obsessively edit. So that's the other thing about sculpting. Once you get fast at it, you have to know when to call it done. Because you can no piece of art is ever finished, really, is it? I mean, you could always put another dot of paint on a painting, right? We could obsess over this, for until the next son of Monsterpalooza. I don't think Lauren would like that. You have to make it, you have to know when to call it done, because at some point, the next one's going to be better. So that's my long-winded answer to that. Hopefully that was helpful.
Do you want to introduce the step next?
Are we actually going to do that now?
I think you're getting close there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
absolutely. Let me ask you a question. Well, sorry, kids, I have to catch up on I think we're doing a makeup behind me. So, should we cut the edge unevenly?
Yeah, that's what I was.
You can do? Okay. Okay. I don't know if you can see what Johnny's doing. Matt, I feel lonely without you. Where are you? I'm right here. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, if we can train on what we're doing here. As I was explaining earlier, we've taken saran wrap, and what gives it this really interesting texture, and in places you see really interesting spider webbing happening here, is Johnny took a heat gun and heated it up. And it just took a little practice to get the right kind of webbing happening and stuff, but and not to melt through it, but it's really cool. So it gives us like another layer. Again, this is a very organic technique, not a standard technique. But what's going to happen is you'll see when we put this on is we're going to get some amazing detail that would have taken forever to sculpt and probably be fairly impossible to sculpt. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay it on there. And what do you want?
I think you can put it on like that.
Oh, do you want me to put it on? I thought you were going to do it. Okay, should I start on the top? Well, okay. I'd like to put a little more flesh tone on here because it keeps dripping off. Look at that mess. Actually, it's not dripping that much. What we did is we mixed this Methocel to a point where it would hold its body and be kind of thick, but it's still drippy. It's like icing a cake.
Steve, Adrian Wright would like to know, do you have any advice for doing cheap blood effects?
I beg your pardon?
Adrian Wright would like to know, do you have any advice for doing cheap blood effects?
Cheap blood effects. Let's see here. Well, I believe that homemade blood is always cheaper than the stuff that you buy, and you can make it pretty simply with Karo syrup, red food coloring, a little caramel food coloring to darken it and make it look more visceral. If you start with that, you've got some almost free blood. I'm not so sure a cheap blood effect. Let's think. Well, here's one. The old Dick Smith technique of doing a bullet hole, making a bullet hole appear on camera. If you don't want to go digitally, you can just paint an area on the forehead or wherever you want the wound black, and then take a button, tie a monofilament to it, a piece of fishing line, stick it on with a little bit of spit or anything that'll stick it on very loosely. And then you build a derma wax, mortician's wax area to hide the button. You will never see the string. And when you yank it off on camera, presto, a little bullet hole appears. That's a cheap one. All right, now I'm going to see if this works, if this idea I've been raving about actually works. Let's see here. A little more of this color. Now, since I'm going to be explaining this on camera, Johnny, that looks great in there. I think we need to get one big, nasty, moldy green area somewhere. Ooh, I like that one, though. Somewhere on it. Sure. But I don't want to do it. I'm having too much fun talking. My assistant's making me work here. That's not the way it works. I'm supposed to make you work. Well, I'm just concerned about how the shoulder is going to work out. How did we do it last time? I completely forgot. Oh no, I can just cut it. Okay. Look, if I can figure out how to do this, anybody can do it. So this is really cool. Are we in tight on this at all? Yeah, let's show them what we're doing here.
Hey,
Raise
Steve.
your arm just for a moment here. Yes.
Steve, I know you're applying right now, but we have a question from Bad Trip Films.
Arm out here. I love the name of that company.
Where do you think student filmmakers and directors should rank their familiarity with practical makeup effects? After Effects and other programs have made certain effects easier. Are they worth it?
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm absolutely in love with my own work over here. I can't concentrate.
That's
This looks
okay.
amazing.
Apply that and we'll get back to it.
This looks... No. Give me just one side. I just want the camera to see this. This really looks... So you can lower your arm? That looks pretty cool. Now,
That's disgusting.
What I will do... Are you tight on that? And the thing is, rotate your arm a little bit. The thing is, there's the magic. If you can see that, how it actually wrinkles and moves. Thing is, it's a little shiny now. We're going to try to take care of that later, or we just may make her even totally slimy. We'll see how it looks because we're making it up as we go along. Okay, Are you guys good to go now? So heat-treated saran wrap sticks right to the stuff. We're just quickly patterning it on. If it doesn't fit perfectly, you can put another piece on with more slime. Okay, I'm sorry, Matt. You want to repeat that question?
The question essentially, Bad Trip Films asks, where do you think student filmmakers and directors should rank their familiarity with practical makeup effects?
As opposed to digital effects.
As opposed to just knowing the digital solution.
Well, I think that, as Alec Gillis so eloquently put in one of your tutorials, Matt, if you only have a hammer, every problem is going to look like a nail. I believe that's what he said, and I was really impressed. And I stole it. Talent borrows, genius steals. I think you should be familiar with both. Because I think, again, I believe there is a resurgence now. There's kind of a backlash and a wonderful nostalgia and yearning for handmade practical effects these days. And if you don't know how they're done, the problem with it, that is, you're not going to know what your options are. You're always going to fall back. You're going to always take your hammer and beat the nail in, and you're not going to know what's possible. Now, obviously, with my background, I feel in almost every case, a blend of the two effects is great. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. When we did this same makeup for the short film, Anthony Deptula, by the way, directed it, for the YouTube film. He's applauding my memory, not Anthony. He's just amazed I can remember anything. Look. I need a wheelchair. I remember what I was saying. What we did is, when Matt came to me and said, what we want you to do is this drowned victim, this drowned girl, I thought, well, that's kind of cool, that's interesting, but I think what you have to do with design at all times is push, push, push. Give the audience something to remember, to walk away from the theater and say, wow, did you see that? James Cameron, again, told me on The Abyss, and he was discussing the water tentacle scene, which was groundbreaking in its time, and he said, you have to give that to the audience in every film. One scene, one thing, one effect that they cannot stop talking about. And that really laid the ground for a lot of digital animation, that one scene he did. So when Matt came to me and said, let's do this drowned victim, I thought, that's kind of boring, Matt. What else you got? But he forced me to do it, and I said, I got one for you. And I talked to the director, and what we did is, that is looking so cool. I am digging that. I think it needs more white in there, though. But can you? Just lift it and put it on? Okay. So what I suggested, and this goes, I am actually answering your question in a very circular way. So what I suggested is, let's take a chroma, and I believe I have it. Okay, I said, let's make this makeup really memorable. Not just a really cool drown makeup. And so what I suggested was, Jen, if you can step right out of the way for 1 second. I said, let's take a chroma key piece. This is really just a vacuum form plastic piece on a head form. And I said, let's put it on our actress's head. And what'll happen is, we'll digitally remove this, and if you can see from the right angle, if this is put on the proper way, it's a reductive effect. With makeup effects for so many years, we've had to add to create the depth of illusion, like the Jack makeup in American Werewolf. Very thick appliances, they're creating the illusion of depth. But now, it's actually not necessarily that difficult to reduce. And so, in order to take the makeup to the next level, we put a chroma key piece on it and did it. So, again, the director was using both effects to get the most bang for his buck. So I think people need to be very, very well versed in both types of effects if they're really helping to do the best work they can. And that is, again, another 30-minute answer from Steve Johnson. Thank you very much. I'm going to lay it on there. Yes.
Red Clark has been incredibly patient. Sorry, Red. Tell us about Monsters, the show you worked on.
I beg your pardon?
Tell us about the show Monsters.
Monsters. That one harkens way back. I just met a guy outside wearing an outrageously interesting devil makeup, and he comes up to me and goes, "I've been following your work since 1979. Monsters was maybe not that long ago, but Monsters was an interesting television show. I don't know if you guys remember it. It was a half-hour series called Monsters, and every episode they would have a different monster or a different series of effects. And it was right about the time that I opened my company, my first company. So it had to be around 1986 or so, maybe a little earlier than that. And they were literally going out to every makeup effects. I mean, back in the 80s, everyone and their dog had a makeup effects studio. They were just all over the place. The business was just exploding, late 80s, early 90s. So they were going to everybody in town and saying, "Do you want to do an episode?" And if they liked you, you'd get another episode, and then another one, another one. I ended up doing several episodes, like 4 or 5. What was really magical about that was they said, "We don't care if we've got a 50-foot blob creature that transforms into a butterfly, lays eggs, and more butterflies hatch out of those cocoons, or if we just have a simple old age makeup." The way we're budgeting the show is every single show gets $6,000. That's it. That's the entire budget, not only for your materials, your labor, but your on-set crew, your on-set time, the whole thing. So it was really challenging to work on the show, but a lot of fun. The producers were great. I believe, if I remember correctly, Greg Canham directed an episode. I mean, they went all over, and it was the height of 80s cheese, that show. It was a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bart and Brett Mixons are in the audience. There's a Cato DiStefan. Look at this. Look at all these people. You're here. I forgot my lenses. Do you have any in your pocket? Oh, I did forget them. Christina Patterson, incredible. The height, the best contact lenses ever made in the world, probably forever on any planet. Yeah, I forgot the lenses this morning. I'm like, oh, I wonder if Christina's going to be here. You don't just carry them around.
Christina, come talk.
No, we got them. We went back and got them, so we're safe. You can put them in, though, if you want. Put some slime on them, get them right in. No, she does. She does an amazing job. I'll tell you, my work is kind of known for many, many years for being very experimental with contact lenses. I used to laminate. This was back in the day when we didn't have all of these paint colors. We just had primary colors. We had to apply makeups with rocks. It was a long time ago. But we used hard sclera lenses, hard plastic. And that was the norm. So the painting technique was very, very different. And I used to actually laminate glitter. I would paint them myself. Rick Baker taught me how. Laminate glitter, iridescent powders, fluorescent paints in an effort constantly, because Rick said, make the eyes pop. Rick always said the eyes have to be brighter than you can imagine. So I kept trying all these techniques to make them brighter and brighter, until finally on Innocent Blood with John Landis, we literally put glass Scotch-Lite beads in the lenses. But it doesn't sound as bad as it is. Scotch-Lite is a 1,000% reflective material like you see on a stop sign. So it reflects so much light. So we sandwiched Scotch-Lite beads in between two lenses to make them safe. That way, when we projected light on them, they could glow, change color, whatever the color of the light was, the lenses were. So then soft lenses came along. And in the beginning of soft lenses, the actors absolutely loved them because they didn't end up at the eye doctor as often. But the painting techniques weren't very good. A lot of times in the beginning, and this is like back in the late 80s, the paints would leach from the lens, so they didn't last as long, which was really sucky if you wanted to build a stock of lenses. And you just couldn't get the detail. And there weren't a lot of artists that were doing a very good job. Along comes Christina Patterson, and I cannot believe the magic she is creating with her lenses. I want to create characters around her lenses. Just give me a lens and I'll make a character for it. So, yeah, that's it. All right. What are you doing over there, John? The hell are you... We're supposed to be doing a makeup, aren't we? Jesus. I'm making myself... I'm not even looking at the time. Always keep an eye on the clock when you're doing a makeup so the ADs don't crucify you. 12:25. Am I happy? I'm never happy, John. You know that. That is some gooey good. Oh, look at that. That is so nice. I'm sorry to get in your way. No, I'm thrilled, John. What do you really mean?
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I'm sure that blew all your speakers at home out. Hey, Steve, we got a question for you. Would you use this same technique for a burn victim? How's Steve's sound? Do we have sound on Steve? Hey, Steve. Hey, viewers at home, can you hear Steve? Let us know in the chat box.
There is a signal.
Hey, Red Clark. This is the moderator, Matt Winston. Yes, this video will be available to view. It'll be uploaded to our YouTube channel later on as a live replay. So check it out. All right, we have lost audio on Steve, but I'm coming through, so that's cool. As soon as Steve's back, he'll start talking. Until then,
Testing 1, 2.
there we
got
go.
it?
Do you guys have Steve back? Let us know.
Yeah, we're back.
We are back. This is I think the first time in my life I've had people working to hear what I'm saying. They usually want me to shut the Christ up. Now there's a whole team trying to hear me. This is great.
My pants are falling.
All right, so Matt,
Yes.
was there a question that? Oh, a burn victim. Yes, this would.
Yes. Would this same approach work for a burn victim?
Well, whomever spouted out that question, shout out to him, because I actually think it would be better for a burn victim. Again, one of the things with prosthetics is you never want to really over-sculpt. Something that's over-sculpted isn't going to look real. The weight's not going to be there. Again, you fall in love with it. The faster you go, and a lot of times it's better. So if you were to do a burn makeup like this, if you can get a nice tight shot of what's happening over here, you could never in a million years sculpt all of that detail. And look, it's actually sagging with her flesh. And again, rotate your arm. If you can see how, just rotate it just the radius and all right there. A sculpture would never ever move like that. So yeah, I think it would be a great technique for a burn makeup. I mean, that's looking pretty, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is, let's just change it to a burn makeup.
That was from Ricky Simpson, that brilliant question.
Yeah,
by
that
the
is
way.
a great question. Ricky, you made a fool of me. You made a jackass of me. Thank you very much. I'm just kidding.
Hey, Steve, let's take a moment to reintroduce your talented assistants for the day and bring people up to speed on this makeup and what you're trying to achieve.
Excellent, you've got it. Hey there, guys. This is the fabulous Mr. Johnny Leftwich here. He's actually a bit taller than that. He's on his knees now. The wonderful Megan Areford. You may recognize her from Face Off Season 1. And what we're doing here is a very non-linear technique. We're using Methocel, which is basically colored KY. It's just the industrial grade. We've got four different colors down here, and we're just haphazardly almost slathering it on and using it basically as an adhesive for saran wrap, really. It's a makeup you can do for Halloween if you don't mind sliming yourself up. But it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. It's pretty comfortable. Easy to get off. Comes off right in the shower. And it's the reason we decided to go with this approach is that a lot of natural stuff happens that you couldn't quite plan. There's some organic stuff happening, some translucency. Am I in your way? A lot of stuff that's happening that if you did it in a more traditional way, like hand painting or airbrushing, it might look a little bit forced and might take longer. This is a really quick technique. Mr. Kenny Myers in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. The fabulous Mr. Kenny Myers. You look like you're judging me, Kenny. It's like you're doing makeup with saran wrap? What the hell? Oh, best mold maker in town, Mr. Rob Friedas. Yeah. The new Gunnar Hansen right there. So this seems to be dripping off a little bit, so we'll want to put more dark red and a lot more bright on. Let's do a big green piece up there. And whatever we can do to maybe settle it down a little bit on this side? You know, as we lay it on? I'm just hoping we can find a way to mat this. I should just ask for the makeup artists in the room here. Yeah, there's at least two. I'm having a little bit of an issue. We're using this heat-treated saran wrap as this loose skin over this. Billy Corso did it on The Shining, you remember? Great effect. Easy right out of the kit. But we didn't put the dulling spray on it, and we forgot the dulling spray. Always double-check your list, kids. Is there a product from PPI or somebody that we could get and give it to mat it down without losing the translucency? Anybody know? Is it? What is it? Yeah, and is it you spray it or you airbrush it? Yeah, because the dulling spray took about 75% of the shine out, and I figured this was a monster convention. Somebody's gonna have something. Well, if it doesn't, look again. Play it by ear, kids. If we can't dull this down, we'll just make it more shiny. We'll put slime on the outside of it. To hell with it. All right. Okay, great. Thank you. The advantage of doing a demo at a makeup convention, your makeup pals are in the audience, and when you screw up, all the suppliers are here. Every set should be like this. This is great. They should have people walking through the trailer. I need a makeup artist myself. I'm sweating. Oh, look, makeup artist. You got a powder puff?
Hey, Steve.
Yes, Matt.
Got a question from TFRE Turns.
Excellent.
Steve, do you think that most movies that are using CG effects nowadays might be overdoing the CG and don't use enough makeup effects?
Yeah. Yes! For the love of God, of course! Are you kidding me? Yes, it's overdone. The problem with it, it's economics. It's unfortunately less expensive. Believe it or not, who would have ever thought we would get to this time where computer animated characters are less expensive? Now, don't get me wrong. They're great. There's amazing stuff, the blending of the two effects, even completely digital films. But again, it harkens back to the question before. If you, again, to give credit to Alec Gillis, if all you have is a hammer as a tool, every problem looks like a nail. The problem is these up-and-coming filmmakers have not had the experience to know what's possible with physical effects. So I think it's one of the great things about shows like Face Off and the Stan Winston School of Character Arts is keeping it out there, keeping the art alive. And shows like Monsterpalooza, it's an absolute testament to this art. So, yeah, I do think it's overused, and it's a shame.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
We have another question here from Donnie J.
Don't say.
How much longevity could you expect to get out of this technique? How long will it hold up?
All right, Donnie, you got me. It's falling apart already. No. Again, choose the technique for the job. If this had to recur on, if we had to redo it for like 3 or 4 days in a row, it would never work. It would be an asinine idea. We could probably adjust the technique and use glue and sealers over this, still maintain the movement and the translucency. But, it worked on The Shining. Sorry, and we won an Emmy for that. So it is certainly possible to keep this maintained on set for a day or a couple of days. But, you got to keep watching it. And as I said, it's very difficult to screw up something that already looks screwed up. So you can always be creative and go in and fix it. Tasty. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of. Oh, you did get a long one. Maybe one more long one there. Sure. More rain. Yeah, it looks like we're getting close on that arm. Just a piece under there, huh?
Hey, Steve, we have a really interesting question here.
Excellent.
About the skin breathing through this material. Necro Angel Declares War wants to know if that's an issue with this approach.
So now you're all out there judging this technique. I see. I didn't even think about that. It's really not that much of a problem. You're right. It doesn't breathe, but she's not being covered. Her whole body's not being covered, so it's perfectly fine. But I don't know. Is it really uncomfortable?
It can be very moisturizing at the end of the day.
This is what I like to hear. Our model says it's like a full body moisturizing session. Just like I always tell people when they get a life cast, think of it as a relaxing facial sauna, being encapsulated for 30 minutes in plaster, blind and unable to hear, at the mercy of people you don't know and have never met. A relaxing facial sauna, that's all. You got us. Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Kenny Myers. Is PPI to our rescue? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay, I'll try that in a minute. Oh, I forgot to mention. Of course, none of this would be possible without. I don't know how far to go back, but the materials for this were all donated by Burbank Industries, incredible supplier, and also Namie's Beauty Supply was on the tip of my tongue. Just gave us everything, which is absolutely great. They've been very, very supportive for this. So. I'll tell you, you ask about the skin breathing, the discomfort, which she doesn't seem to mind it, but I'll tell you who did mind it. Again, testing a makeup is very important. Always test your makeups, at least once. This could be considered our fourth test. But the first test we did, we went really extreme on it. We used Roland Blancafor, who runs Foam Rubber, gave us a full access to his stock. He's Foam Rubber mad genius. And so I looked into his stock and I got some swollen, puffy eyelids, and because I thought that would be great for a bloated look. So when we first tested the makeup, I did it on my lovely girlfriend, Heather Rose here. And we tested it to the point where she actually started crying. She had these huge, so she couldn't see. We were sliming her, and we were just going a mile a minute. We didn't have any Heather Rose right here. They didn't know what we were doing. And so we were using her as our guinea pig. And I'll tell you, here's how heartless I am. I was very, very deep into the process, trying to figure it out. And sometimes, and this is not good for you guys out there, you always need to be very aware of your model's comfort. Always. I mean, my motto used to be, if the actor isn't crying, doesn't punch me or run screaming from the trailer, I'm doing something wrong. But you shouldn't do it that way. You've got to be aware of the comfort. So when she started crying, I didn't know whether to laugh or feel sorry for her, because in this, what you'll see, the horrific makeup, it almost looked comical. That's what a jackass I am. But I aborted the makeup. I'm not that big of a jackass. So don't make your models cry if at all possible, especially if they're your girlfriend. Woo! I am working up a sweat here. Makeup. Yes.
We have a. Well, tell me when you can hear me.
I can
there
hear
we
you.
Go.
I can hear you. Yes.
Today with Patrick J says, I love the chaotic nature of Steve Johnson.
All right. Well, excellent. That's not a question, but it's a wonderfully strong statement.
I think it's awesome. We have another one here from Lee Hartnup. I do digital zombie pics because zombies actually scare me. Have you ever done a makeup that, when finished, made you uncomfortable being around the actor?
Is this Goat Boy? This is Goat Boy. Goat Boy, what's happening? He does. Goat Boy Hartnup does digital zombies portraits on just about every key person in the horror industry, both living and dead, actors, directors, behind-the-scenes people. You could probably Google his website, and not a lot of people called Goat Boy, so it's really neat work. Have I ever done anything that scared me? Absolutely not. Again, the only things that have ever scared me are matters of running out of money, the effect not working. I mean, those things are really terrifying. That's the real deal. This stuff's just rubber. It's just not scary.
We have another question here, Steve, from TFERE Turns. Steve, I remember watching a season or two of Face Off, and I remember seeing an episode where the model would get sick. Has this happened to you a lot? And how would you approach that kind of situation?
No, it hasn't actually. I mean, I've had a couple of pretty good disasters. As a matter of fact, the ones that come to mind first, both happened on Bicentennial Man. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. Isaac Asimov novella was turned into a film called Bicentennial Man, directed by Chris Columbus. Robin Williams plays a robot, a household robot that eventually, it's like a Pinocchio story. He gradually becomes human. And this is a really good one. When we were doing a full-body life cast on the actress that played Galatina, which was the female version, kind of a Bride of Frankenstein thing going on, she literally passed out. She passed out because when the plaster bandage starts heating up, And there's something to do about acupressure points, the backs of the knees, the elbows. Quite often someone can pass out in a full body life cast. And I went on a vendetta to get her fired off the show after that because I thought she was just going to be an absolute nightmare to work with. Because I made her pass out. But Chris Columbus really liked her, and her husband was an attorney too, so that kind of shut me up. And on the same film, oh my God, we were. Remember I said that Robin Williams was like a Pinocchio, reverse Pinocchio. Well, he's a robot that wants to be desperately a human. So we had to do incremental stages of his full-on 100% robot look gradually to a human. Well, we tried everything. We tried prosthetic makeups. We tried animatronic, more Robin Williams-like versions of his more robotic thing. We tested and tested and tested. Nothing worked. And again, the jackass, carefree, trying anything and going out on a limb guy that I am, we went way out on a limb on a translucent gelatin that we actually formulated ourselves. The reason we wanted to go translucent is we wanted to suspend metal flake into it. So it would be translucent, it would move, it would use his real eyes. Well, it was an unseasonably hot summer in San Francisco when we tested that makeup, and the prosthetics that we had the custom prosthetics that we had formulated had never really been tested in that kind of heat. And it melted into Robin's eyes. And using one of the world's most beloved stars as a guinea pig is never a good idea, kids. Because, he was like knocking things off in the trailer, screaming, "My eyes, will I ever see again? My eyes!" And we're just like all dead silent because we didn't know if we had just literally blinded him. So, yeah, sometimes experimentation should be done on your lab assistants instead of your movie stars.
All right. Hey, Steve, we have another question here from Aaron Mezzaros. He wants to know what kind of effect cannot be achieved with computers but only makeup effects.
Well, these days, my honest feeling is you can almost get 99.999% there with computers. In almost all cases, whether you want to do that or not is the question. It removes, again, the audience connection. And that's a terrible thing. As a matter of fact, the movie Gravity, Sandra Bullock and who else stars in Gravity? You star in Gravity? Who are the stars?
Oh, Sandra Bullock, George Clooney.
Jay Leno and George Clooney. Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. There's a lot of debate as to whether that should be called an animated film because the way they made it, and I'm dying to see it myself, IMAX 3D. The way they made it is they did what's called a pre-visualization, in which, instead of storyboards, which are static patterns that explain the action, for tools for the director, production designer, all the departments, to know what to expect on set. A previs is an actual animated sequence. Well, usually it's rough. Usually it's just to give you an idea of the beats and how to, position all of your effects into the shot that you want. Well, on Gravity, what I heard is they literally made the entire movie digitally, almost photoreal. With music, everything. And then, instead of really using it as a pre-visualization tool, which is always thrown away, and then you go make your real movie and do your digital components. Well, on Gravity, they just said, well, wait a minute. We kind of have the whole movie here. Let's just stick our actors in only when we need them. And, some of the costumes are actually digitally created. Some of the actors are. And I believe sometimes they actually just digitally stuck the Jay Leno's face on Sandra Bullock's body for the...
But in support of practical, some people are blogging that they're mad they didn't actually physically shoot in space.
Well, that would have been the other option. That they could have shot it in outer space. James Cameron is such a taskmaster that, his movies incrementally get harder and harder to make. After The Abyss, where the entire movie was shot underwater, and I'm telling you, when you think about a 12, 14-hour day, and you're wearing scuba gear, come on, people were throwing up in their regulators. People were falling asleep on set underwater. This is craziness. And it was just so difficult. He had to create his own communication equipment to do this. A lot of equipment was custom built. So I thought, okay, what's he going to do next? Actually go to outer space to make his next movie? He didn't, but he did go to the bottom of the Marianas Trench all by himself in a death trap. Have you heard about that one? That's crazy. So now he's an explorer, too. Okay.
Hey, Steve?
Yes.
We have a question here from Red Clark. Innocent Blood had a lot of unique and interesting effects using light inside of makeup. Innocent Blood's eyes, the Abyss aliens. What do you think of that technique and even the deterioration scene from Innocent Blood?
Well, thank you. I liked it a lot. The way we did it on Innocent Blood is, again, I explained a little bit earlier how we created Scotch-Lite stop sign material contact lenses that reflect 1,000% of the color of the light you're projecting onto them. But for the red-hot lava effects when Don Rickles deteriorates, he falls apart, and for that, we actually used we used Scotch-Lite again, but we used two types of Scotch-Lite. We used the paint. It comes in a paint form from GM, and there's also tape. And so we would paint it and do different layers of paint thicknesses. So when you projected light on, you'd get different variations of levels. But then we put little hot spots of the tape on, so you get real pops. And then all we did was project fire hot lava on it. And I thought it was a really, really, really effective technique, again, for the time. I mean, people were going crazy for those lenses because, again, there was no way to do it digitally at that time, and now there would be no reason to not do it digitally. I'm getting thumbs down from the audience and the Stan Winston crew. Yeah, but just glowing eyes. Just come on, glowing eyes. Your son could do glowing eyes on his toy computer in 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
Hey, Steve?
Yes.
Antonio D. Jones 123 wants to know how you go about designing a creature that has been done so many times before and make it different.
That is a wonderful, wonderful question. The way I worked in my studio, again, I think if I can excite myself, the audience is going to be excited. And I always surrounded myself with an incredible team, some just amazing people. And the designers themselves that I would keep on, we started developing a shorthand. I mean, we could almost read each other's minds after years and years and years. And I would literally give them weeks, sometimes months, to brainstorm and play around with ideas. And then we would always, and so we would end up with catalogs of concepts for these things. And one idea would lead to another. Somebody in the studio might have an idea. We'd have brainstorming sessions, and we would just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until we had something that looked outstanding. And again, the answer is, if it excites us, it's going to excite the audience, because it's kind of what we do. What's happening? Mr. Bob Marino in the house. Hey, if there's no question, I've got a joke for you. You know, besides the Stan Winston School, which is brilliant, I don't think will ever be matched in the detail of all of the different lessons that are available. The fact that you can do it a la carte or subscribe, and the catalog is continuing to build and build and build. Absolutely amazing. But the Dick Smith correspondence course is also absolutely amazing. And until Matt came up with this, I mean, it was always the go-to book. I had the course, for God's sake. Really, really, really great course to take. It's all there. The funny thing is, Dick's getting really old these days. Everybody thinks Dick Smith did such a good job on the makeup for Amadeus. He knew Amadeus. He's old, I tell you. He's old. All right, I did it. I'll be here for another 2 hours.
That's right. We are going to be enjoying the comedy stylings of Steve Johnson for a while. We have
oh, that looks great.
Another
That's
question
nice.
For you.
I wonder why this one. Is it the same?
This
fabric?
is from Ronime, R-O-N-I-M-E. I
Is that
airbrushed
why?
my wife blue for Star Wars
ruined it.
costuming.
What's the? Oh, you're
with
painting on top of it?
alcohol-based paint, and was
Oh, you
wondering.
stitch spray. I'm so sorry, Matt. I'm not hearing you right now. That works pretty well, I think.
But hold on, you didn't hear the whole question.
No. I forgot. There's a live makeup going on behind me as a backdrop, and I keep forgetting it's there. Okay. I'm sorry, Matt. I apologize. What was the question?
All right, this is from Ronnie Me or Roni Me. I airbrushed my wife blue for Star Wars costuming with alcohol-based paint, and was wondering if there was a more simple solution that takes less than 2 hours every time we want to do it.
Well, airbrushing is the way to go. Absolutely, for something like that. I think that open up that your airbrush as big as you can. But the other thing is, you could spray her down. I mean, they make these little sprayers. You can, that are for like I don't know what they're paint sprayers. Painters use them. I mean, there's no reason not to put paint in those, and you could just go like a house painter and get it done in 20, 30 minutes, I would imagine. What's that? Hopper gun. Johnny Leftwich knows what these are called. Hopper gun.
bring them up to speed on the makeup progress, and then I have a whole bunch of questions for you.
Okay, on the progress, or you want me to start from the top?
Yeah, we can start from the very beginning of the makeup. Okay. You guys can remove all that from your actress, and let's move back in time. No, just bring us up to speed. Reintroduce your makeup assistants for the viewers at home.
Mr. Johnny Leftwich, right here. Miss Megan Areford, right here. You might recognize her from Face Off, Season 1. Both fabulously talented. And Lauren, our model, of course, who were allowing us to torture her. That looks so good. I can't even stop thinking that Lauren Lakis. So what we've done here, we've come up with a kind of cockamamie technique here where we've mixed up a KY-like material, KY jelly. It's an industrial version called methyl cellulose. Mix it up in hot water. Next thing you know, you can control the thickness of it and make it runny. We've made it pretty thick so it holds his body. We've got a muddy mold color. We've got a kind of dirty yellow color, a bruisey purple color. And my favorite, a nice, nasty, pale flesh tone, a little yellowish. And all we've done here, because we're lazy bastards, as opposed to airbrushing, hand painting, doing what most people would approach for this drowned victim, which is what we're doing, a pruny drowned victim. Not been dead too long, just long enough to prune and discolor. We've just taken this stuff and slathered it liberally all over her. And this is so easy. You can do this at home. If you don't have Methocel, you can use KY. Tint it with acrylic paint. And the next step is to, actually there's a slight other step. We've taken yarn, just regular yarn like this. And what you want to do with it is untwine it from itself. And we're using this for veins. So you untwine it as small as you can get it, and then tear it like that. And then the vein diminishes, though it's rising out of the skin and going back into the skin. And then, try not to swallow the fibers, we're laying it on. And it sticks right onto the Methocel. And it ends up making a really, really nice, hard-edged vein really quickly. And once it gets a little bit more, maybe some flesh tone on top of that, and the plastic and the airbrush that we're going to do, it looks really horrifying. I mean, I got this idea, I believe, from a movie called, first time I saw it used was a movie called The Creeping Terror, I think. And I'm sure they took gelatin or something and stuck yarn veins in it. And it's kind of hard to recreate it. Certainly wouldn't be as fast as this if you were going to hand paint it. Rick Baker used to use this technique. He would take the same yarn and use a little soldering iron and melt it into a gelatin or a silicone head. And it ends up looking pretty neat because it's a dimensional vein, really, really hard edge, really horrifying. The next step, regular saran wrap, but we've taken a heat gun and applied some heat to it so we get little spiderwebby kind of flares and a lot of kind of unevenness bubbling. Stuff that you could never, ever sculpt. It would take you forever if you were going to sculpt these appliances. You'd also lose the translucency. The other problem is if you can go in tight on the arm, if you sculpted this as an appliance, now rotate like that, you wouldn't get that crazy, crepey wrinkling. See how that works? It's really alive. This technique... Bill Corso, wonderful makeup artist, great guy, came up with this technique on the Mick Garris directed version of Stephen King's The Shining, the miniseries, for the woman in what room, Matt? See? The woman in room 2059, the drowned woman in the bathtub. And it just worked out so great. That's just so cool looking. Now, the other thing you need to know here is this arm, you can see it's a little bit more heavy-handed. This arm looks absolutely amazing. Reason being, I stuck this on myself, and Johnny did that one. So yeah, I kind of screwed it all up there, but I'm distracted, for God's sake.
Hey, Steve?
Yes.
We have a question from Tace Vale. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Tace. Steve, what do you think about Prozade transfer makeup? And I'm loving this.
Excellent, cool. We're loving it too. Prozade transfer makeups, they're amazing. There's so many things you can do with them that you can't do otherwise. Again, like an idiot, last Halloween, my girlfriend and I did some Prozade transfer makeups. The thing you don't want to take them off with, remind me, you don't want to take them off with isopropyl myricate, right? No, I made the mistake. I took her in the bathroom. We were at a party and I wanted to get her makeup off. And, oh my God. I was in there for 3 hours. The entire group of people thought we were in there having wild sex for forever and ever and ever. So I was cursing because I couldn't get the stuff off. It was insane. It just dissolves. Don't use, what do you use to get the frozen? You use alcohol, right?
It depends on the thickness of the piece.
Yeah.
But alcohol's good to get this started with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very gooey, but alcohol's a little rough on the skin, but yeah, you got to watch it if you have it. So I do like them. I like them a lot. I think they first came into vogue on The Passion of the Christ. Christian Tinsley developed it, and you can do things that you could put these things on and leave them on for a week and shoot underwater, and they'll never come off, as witnessed by the fact it took me that long to get those off. So yeah, they're very cool. It's a great new technique, a new trick in our box of tools.
Hey, Steve. PH4N Tom, PL4N3T asks, do you have any feelings on how a makeup ultimately translates when digitally filmed as opposed to the more organic rendering of celluloid film?
Well, yes, absolutely. With the new technology, you cannot get away with anything. And it's not that we try to get away with things, but that's the nature of what we're doing, is creating illusions. And one of the amazing things that's helping with these higher res equipment these days is the advent and the common usage now of silicone prosthetics. They read so much better. Skin is translucent. Foam rubber, what we used to use, as a matter of course, is opaque. So we would have to trick the camera, trick the eye into the appearance of translucence by building up layers, maybe sometimes even starting with a bloody color on top, building up washes to give the appearance of translucency. But now, silicone is amazing. It's just, it's like magic. It really, really is. It's a very exciting time to be a makeup artist because of silicone and Kenny Myers. Question from the audience, Cass McClure, yes.
You were one of the early purveyors of
You're killing me.
you talk about some of the early
I will. Cass asked the question. Cass used to work at our studio for many years. Excellent technician. And I was never satisfied with foam rubber. And I couldn't figure out why silicones weren't being used more casually in the industry. And I found out pretty quick when I tried to use them. Nothing glues to it. No paint sticks to it. I mean, it's a nightmare. Every time mold, you can't cast it in a mold. So it's taken years, over a decade, to figure all these problems out. Now they're all solved very easily. But we were kind of pioneering in some of the stuff we did. I think we made one of the first full silicone animatronics for a movie called Roswell. And I just, again, pushed until we got it to work. And a gentleman named Lenny McDonald at my company kind of spearheaded that and just made sure it worked. Because, again, with effects, it's got to be possible, right? I mean, your only parameter are how much money do you have and how much time do you have. So I'm really, really happy to see how far the process has gone these days. Yes? No, I'm too. These guys might. I don't know. Maybe you want to wait till 2, or do you want to?
Oh, no, I already put in my order, but
Okay.
I didn't ask.
Oh, okay. No, I'm fine for now. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm going to... No, thanks. Hey, John, remember that cigarette break? Would now be a good time to...
Ladies and gentlemen, time for a break. Matt,
Well,
why
let's...
don't you come talk to us for a little bit?
Or maybe these guys could talk. They're not mic'd, though.
Yes, well, we can swap the mic.
We're doing great on time. That looks amazing. The colors, the vein, that looks so good. This is looking really good. I do think we're going to need some airbrush to tie it together a little bit. Just a little bit, just a hint. That looks really good. Yes.
Just gonna wait for you to get off.
Back in 3 minutes. They'll still be here. I'm just going, hey there.
Cutting your 1, 2. Did you just turn this on? That one seems to be working. It has that 20-second. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. Sorry about that audio flub. Steve and the crew have been working very hard behind us on Lauren, who is, close to completing this makeup on her. And I'm going to bring Matt in to answer questions about what we're doing. We're at Monsterpalooza we're at Son of Monsterpalooza October 2013. We're live to our fans, and we're in Burbank, California, and really have nothing else to say about the matter at all. Lauren is taking a break to get something to drink, and then we'll be right back. Matt, love you. Matt Winston.
He was on the phone with Amy.
Oh, he was.
Yes.
Oh, great. This woman is breaking for sure. Yeah. You're allowed to break if she's breaking. Oh, would you like to talk to the crowd? Otherwise, it's me. Huh? That's fine. You do it. I'm gonna have to dance. I see a lot of people around here. I have absolutely no knowledge of creature effects. Monsters scare me, frankly. I don't know what I'm doing.
Got it. Okay.
Everyone is taking a break. So I started out as a photographer. Who have we lost? We have no one in our... Why don't you all take a break? Haven't you been here long enough? There you go. We're going to take a quick break. God. Worse things have happened. Check, 1, 2. Hey guys, I can't even be on one of the 3 cameras that I'm normally on to show you that no one is behind those cameras. In fact, the entire booth has completely evaporated except for Bonnie Lynn Cote. This is my desk chair.
Oh, and it's gooey.
And it is full of goo by Steve and his crowd. I'm not going to say I'm pleased with that at all. This is my desk chair. It's covered in goo.
It is a little slippy.
And there are monsters and monster fans walking around. And
We have a T-Rex.
Bonnie
We have a T-Rex.
can't show the T-Rex because there's no one behind the camera. Oh, there's Chris Vaughn.
Hi, Chris.
You want to?
We have a T-Rex. We tend to bring cool things. You're talking to him.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Put on the headset.
Hey, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Matrius.
Matt Winston here. Steve has been putting on a clinic. As you all can see, I'm going to put this on my head. As you can see, he's not only talented, but hugely entertaining. One of the most entertaining men in the history of makeup effects, and we get to hang out with him. He's going to be working on this application for the next little while, and there's a lot of questions we haven't gotten to. As soon as Steve gets back with Megan and Johnny and Lauren, we'll get to your questions. Just also want to give you guys a heads up if you're watching this. As soon as Steve's demo's done, we are going to break down all this stuff, bring in some chairs, and start bringing in amazing makeup effects artists who are here at Son of Monsterpalooza. And we're going to do an interview show with a bunch of people, including Steve Wang and the Kyoto brothers and Casey Love and Jordu Shell and everyone here. We're just going to bring them in and Don Post, legendary mask maker, is going to talk with us. So we're just going to have a cool interview show, and you guys can be asking questions throughout. You're going to get to meet a lot of great people. Highly encourage you to check out Steve Johnson in his various media platforms. Go to his YouTube channel, Rubber Rules. He's got some great videos up there where he talks about his projects he's worked on. Also on Facebook, Steve Johnson, check him out. He's very active on social media and really cool at responding to fans all around the world. So check him out. For those of you who are joining us late, we're here at Son of Monsterpalooza in Burbank, California. We're live all day long. Can we pan around the room a little bit, Johnny, and show them what's going on? It's not just this booth, guys. There's all kinds of stuff going. Johnny Ailes, our creative director, is going to dismount the camera and do a slow pan around for you. But he's shaking his head in frustration. And here we go. Sorry, don't throw up. Slow it down there, Johnny. You're killing people.
Dude, this is how it's got to be right now.
Sorry.
It's a Band-Aid, guys.
Jeez.
Oh, it's a Band-Aid. I had to take it.
All right, so let's just pan around the room, and you're going to see where we are. Go ahead.
Are you live?
We're live. Yeah.
Hey, guys.
We're live all around the world, and you guys are joining us here at Son of Monsterpalooza, the next best thing to actually being here.
And if you guys are Monster fans, you would probably know Don Post's advertisement from 1978.
There's-
all the original masks.
There's Don Post's display. He's here. Come around. We got a cool Sideshow Curiosities booth right next to us with some cool creatures. And guys, we're running a really cool offer right now. We just added a comments section to the tutorials on the Stan Winston School website. It's brand new, and it'll give all of you out there who have watched the Stan Winston School tutorials a chance to write a review about your favorite lessons. So what we're doing is, until this Wednesday, it's going to end on Wednesday, if you go on our site and go to the page of your favorite tutorial and leave a review so other people can get a feeling for what's there, for how effective it is, if you leave a review, we're going to be sending you a coupon code on Wednesday for any of you who do this. If you leave one review, you're going to get a 10% off coupon code you can use towards tutorial purchase. And you can buy a ton of tutorials and apply the coupon code if you want to. 2 reviews, you get 20% off coupon code. 3 reviews, 30% off. All the way up to 5 reviews, you get 50% off your next tutorial purchase from Stan Winston School. And all you have to do is write a review or reviews about your favorite lessons. So while we're waiting on Steve to get back from his break, go to the site and write a couple reviews. And we'll be checking all the pages on Wednesday, and whoever wrote a review gets a coupon code. Check it out. Steve's back? All right, we have Steve Johnson. I'm going to get the heck out of here.
Thank you, Mr. Winston. I don't know how to put this on.
He said like this. No. Watch this. Like this.
Excellent, excellent. It feels so good when you do it.
There. That's good. There you go.
Oh, my phone's in there. Can we put it in this one?
Yeah. Wherever you want.
Here, I'll just clip it in.
No, he has to do it for you. Steve Johnson back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing Lauren and our wonderful model. Lauren Lakis. What's the last? Lakis. Lauren Lakis.
I'm actually an actor.
Well, your model today. Was this on her dress? I mean, how did you have it on there?
Just like that.
Was it?
That's good.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, so I guess we're just going to keep going here, boys and girls. Any questions, Matt? We've lost Matt. Okay, well, let's just us talk about what we're going to do. It is slipping and sliding a little bit, but I guess we just fix that before we do it, right? And this still needs to be detailed there, right?
Yes.
So what's next, kids? Are you going to do the neck next?
Yeah, I think so.
And then we move on to the face. And then we'll be very close to being done. After we do the face, we'll do some airbrushing. And decide if we want to mat it. And that's kind of it, I think. And when we do the airbrushing, what I'd like to do is darken the fingertips. Definitely do some darker eye stuff. Maybe some lip stuff.
You think we should do that first?
No, because we don't know exactly how close we're going to go with the plastic to our eyes. We're going to have that issue, and I think I had thought about that, actually. We may even need to use some tissue, so once we get it on the eyes to help blend so we don't have to cut so closely to them. So then I think it'll be easier to make them all match if we airbrush it afterwards. Yes, Matt? Did you say have any characters turn into Halloween masks? They have. Let me try to think. Actually, Distortions Unlimited, I licensed a group of my own private sculptures that I had done just for fun years ago, and they sold in the thousands. I was really surprised. It was interesting to see what sells and what doesn't to the public. The aliens were big sellers. Zombies are always big sellers. Some of the more eclectic ones didn't sell as many, but we also licensed to them the full-body Roswell alien, and that sold like hotcakes, too. And they did a really, really good job. Now, regarding things from movies, I know that the alien from Species was created not only as a model kit by Sideshow, but it was a mask. I believe Don Post did that. They also did a full body of that, an actual life-size full body. And I think everybody always does a good job. I mean, particularly Sideshow. They're absolute geniuses over there. The work they do is amazing. Steve Wang has recently partnered with a company called Toynami, and they make these 12-inch models that are unbelievably detailed. And they've done a character, a Reaper from Blade 2 that I did with Guillermo del Toro, the character with the jaw that spreads open. And it's here at the convention here at Monsterpalooza, and it is stunning. It's anything that comes from Steve Wang. It's absolutely top notch. It looks better than our real one, that bastard. Yes. Okay. That is a really good question. We screwed around with that. I would hesitate. One thing first, I would hesitate. If you're not living in the jungles of the Congo, you should just get online and order a small container, the smallest they make at, I believe they sell this at Namie's. I know they sell it at Friends Beauty Supply, Namie's Beauty Supply and Friends Beauty Supply. I believe Burbank Industries has it as well. You should buy a small container of Methicel. It's just a white powder. You mix it in warm water, any consistency you want. And the reason I say that is because the small container only costs $22. And you can make something like 15 or 20 gallons of Methicel with this. And if you wanted to do a makeup with KY, that stuff for a small tube costs like $5. If you wanted to thicken it, I am not sure what you would use, though. Yep. Thicken it with Methicel. That would certainly work. I'm not sure how it's a water-soluble material, so I'm not sure what household material would actually thicken it. Some type of powder, maybe? I'm not sure, but that's a good question because I have no answer for it. Yes? Highway to Hell. That was a long, long time ago. That was mid-'80s, I believe. We did a lot of stuff on that. See, the thing is, the film industry has changed enormously in the past couple of decades. Back in the early 80s, when this type of effect, character makeups, with the advent of American Werewolf in London, things exploded. Prosthetic effects, animatronics. Was very new, and the filmmaking industry was very different. The budgets were much lower, and it seems to me that the producers and directors really leaned on the makeup effects artists as actual filmmakers. I mean, you were down there in the trenches designing, making decisions on what the characters looked like, how the characters behaved, even to casting, right down to casting. And we were leaned on heavily. Now, the whole film industry has changed because now with $200 million films, there's a chain of decision making that's very difficult to get one artist's idea across. So, on Highway to Hell, see, I'm coming back to the question. On Highway to Hell, it was a playground, just like Dead Heat. They just dumped a bunch of money in my lap. I think it was about $300,000 on Highway to Hell. And they said, go have fun. And, you know, we didn't have to go through a long design process. They literally trusted us as filmmakers. And so I had been reading the Books of Blood by Clive Barker. And in the beginning, the whole kind of catch on the Books of Blood is there is a guy who all of these ghosts carved their stories, their ghost stories, into his body. They literally cut him. So he's covered with words. And each story in the Books of Bloods, which is an anthology of short stories by Clive Barker, is one of these stories that's been carved into the guy. And I thought, wow. There's a character in Dead Heat that's called Hell Cop. Christy Swanson and Chad Lowe play these love-crossed kids that end up running away from home to get married, and somehow they end up in hell. And she gets stuck in hell, and he has to get her back out of it. So there's this cop down there that's the antagonist in the film. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to rip off Clive Barker's idea? Talent borrows, genius steals. And so we did a full set of prosthetics. It was mostly a cowl with a face and a lower lip on it that had all of these biblical terms cut into them as older scars. And that turned out really well. Excuse me. We also did a suit, a demon suit. Christy transforms into a demon at one point in the film. And what I wanted to do is bring like African ritual scarring and kind of whole African vibe to it. So we put jewelry on her and did ritual scarring and tribal markings and literally gave her a bloated Ethiopian kind of starving belly and saggy tits. And it was really, really, really a cool makeup. Again, a playground. We did a lot of effects in that film. There's a lot of gore effects as well. Yeah, so that was a really fun project. The filmmaking industry was so much more casual back then. It's interesting to think back to that time. Yes. The importance of safety. Never let gelatin prosthetics melt into Robin Williams' eyes. It's a really bad idea. Well, it's really, really important. All of these materials you see here can potentially be abused. You've got to read the information on them. You've got to be very, very aware. Another thing is, unlike us, you've got to work very, very clean, because the last thing you want to do is accidentally pick up a cup of alcohol thinking it's water and or mix another chemical up and hurt the actress. The actress' comfort is always first and foremost. So you've just got to really, really familiarize yourself with the materials that you're using. Luckily, what we're using here is all basically water-soluble today, so it'll come right off in the shower. What's happening, Don? Good. Oops, sorry. Now, what you're going to find is when we do I wonder if we could squeeze some. Well, we'll do that later if we want to. Some of that weird stuff that we got on Heather, but we can adjust that later. What you're going to find when you get to the face with that thicker gel is the problem that I didn't like on Heather when I did this test makeup on her. You weren't there. The day we did on Heather, the thick one where we just did part, is that this is going to droop. You know, it's all going to want to hang at her jaw, so we just have to kind of be aware of keeping that line clean. Otherwise, it'll look like an age makeup. But we still do need to get. I mean, this neck looks fantastic. It's really good. Are the scissors, the little ones? The cuticles? I had cuticle scissors out here. I just wanted to tighten up the fingers there a little bit.
Yeah, I had a little bit of an issue with those. And this right here.
Yeah, they're looking a little rough.
Yeah.
But if they're cut more, maybe they'll...
Yeah. I can clean that up.
Yeah.
In fact, I used this piece because it has all this cool stuff in it.
No, that looks great.
But that stuff makes it more rigid and less compliant.
Right.
So should I just scrap it?
Not yet. Let's just keep going. We'll see how it lives. Okay. Everybody's bored now.
Yep. Check. Test. Can you guys hear me?
Technical problems, yes.
If you can hear me in the comments, say yes. This is Matt Winston. Please take a moment to like this broadcast. All you got to do is click on that thumbs up underneath the player. That way it will be pushed to the top of our YouTube feed, and everyone will get to see it later on today. Take a half a second. Click the thumbs up. Hey, Steve?
Yes.
Got a question here. Stephen Bono has been very patient. What is the best way to protect your actors when doing a life cast so that you don't remove their hair and skin so much?
Removing an actor's hair and skin is usually a really bad idea. So I would definitely say that be very careful about your bald cap. You really, even if you're just doing a three-quarter or a front face, you should put a bald cap on, or at least a stocking cap, a wig stocking, so that you don't have any opportunity of getting the actor's hair in there. Now, when we're talking about the eyebrows, peach fuzz, that kind of thing, most alginates won't stick to that. The skin should be fine too. So, I mean, some people will use Vaseline or cold cream or things like this, but usually it's pretty good. It depends on what you're taking the life cast with. These new silicones are amazing. They don't stick to hair at all. You can do like a full beard, right?
There's a new body double out from Smooth On that you don't need a release agent. The release agent's already mixed into it.
Hey,
Megan is reminding me there's a new body double. Is it silicone?
Body double for yeah.
Yeah, it's a life casting silicone. It's a little more expensive than alginate, but it doesn't stick to hair at all. Megan is informing me that the release is actually in the material itself. So, but you do have to be really careful. I tried to save some money once on a life cast. Luckily, it was on me. I was making a dummy head of myself for a television show where we cut my head off. And I said, this is okay. We'll just do it. Well, we need a latex head of me, polyfoam head. And so I don't want to go through all the process of doing a clay pour, a retool, another mold. Let's just put plaster directly on my face, and we can then make the rubber casting directly out of that. And I had done it as a kid by slathering Vaseline on my face and in my eyebrows. But oh my God, for some reason it was a different type of plaster. I don't know what happened. In this time-saving technique that I idiotically came up with, it locked on my eyelashes and my eyebrows. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It practically had to be surgically removed from me. So you do have to be very careful. The other thing is, if you ever even want to consider doing a life cast with plaster, you shouldn't, because it can heat up and actually burn your skin. So you got to be really careful and use the right materials and do the right prep. Okay, act like I know what I'm talking about.
Hey, Steve.
Thanks to these guys.
Hey, Steve. Some people in the audience would love to hear from Megan and Johnny.
Excellent.
About breaking into the makeup effects industry, their experiences. So can you head over close to those kids so people can hear them through your microphone?
Oh, can they hear me? They can hear.
And in fact, if you take the microphone off your face, off your head,
yes,
you can just pass it back and forth like a handheld mic, and we can meet them a little bit.
Got it. Oh, do you just want us to riff on this?
Yeah, let's meet them and talk about how they got into the business and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you take over.
I can't while I'm
Okay, where to start? Well, I guess I started. First of all, I'm from Virginia, and I grew up in a small town in Virginia. So if you're in a similar situation, it's possible to get out of it.
What's that sound?
But I started just doing stuff that I could do with grease paint and latex and toilet paper and stuff that I could get from Walmart, because that's what was available. So I just started doing it and taking pictures of it and putting it on Facebook, actually.
Put off your body. Pumping you. This keeps
Okay.
pumping you.
Should I just put it on?
Yeah, put it on.
All right. Yeah. Okay. There. Now I feel like Britney Spears. But yeah. So I just did what I could with what I had and took pictures of it and put it on Facebook. And I actually got a lot of my work through Facebook, because people would look at my Facebook and see my work, and I would make sure to befriend a lot of people who are probably watching this right now because I befriended them and then shared this link. So do that. Just do what you can. Use every tool that you possibly can. It's like, you know, you have a sculpture kit with all the tools that you need, and so market yourself with all the tools that you can, and get your face out there and get your work out there and be good at it, you know, and hopefully you can make your way up. So that's me.
This is Matt Winston. I'm going to reiterate what Johnny is saying, guys. The internet has made this a very small world, and people out there have an incredible opportunity to just do your work and get it out there. Put it up on the Stan Winston School Facebook page. Put it out there on the Monsterpalooza page, on Famous Monsters of Filmland. It's never been easier to get your stuff out there. The key is to be making stuff. We have so many people ask us, how do I break in? And we say, well, let's see your work. And they're like, well, I don't have any work. Well, you can't possibly break in if you haven't done tons of awesome stuff on your own. And that's what you have to be doing. That's how you're going to get jobs. Thanks, Johnny. That was awesome. Sure. Hey, Megan, can we talk to you a little bit?
Here, I'll mic you.
Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Wait, I have to go under the hair.
And some of you may remember Megan from season 1 of Face Off. Let's put our hands together for Megan Areford.
Yeah, hi, I'm Megan Areford. I started out back in 2004. Actually, I remember I was still in high school. I was 17, going on 18 at the time, and I didn't know quite what I wanted to do. I just knew that I did, I loved being in art class. I loved art, and at the time, YouTube, internet, all that stuff, it was really difficult to find information on, especially on the East Coast, on how to do special effects makeup. And so I wasn't sure what to do. My parents desperately wanted me to go to some training school or college, just to get a degree. I said, okay. And that's when I stumbled upon the Tom Savini Special Effects School. And I started October 4th, 2004, and graduated January 26th of 2006. And I worked in New York there for a little bit on independent films, and then I moved out here to LA April 14th, 2007 at LAX at 12:45 p.m. And and then ever since then, networking with people, especially people I went to school with, they'd call me up knowing I was coming out here. And it's always good to make connections starting in school or, in your hometown and working your way out here to the great city of LA. And after that, I was working for a while on independent films, and I got my luck at Quantum Creations at 23 working on Tron. And after that, we worked on Sucker Punch, and then I went into Legacy, which I worked on Iron Man 2 and a few other things, Thor, whatnot. And then I was down on hard times there for a little bit. Shops were really slow and whatnot. And then I caught word from one of my friends who said, hey, did you hear about this TV show coming out? They want to cast people. It's called Face Off. And I was like, well, I wasn't even going to try it. I wasn't. And then I was working on an independent film with my friend Brad Palmer, who at the time worked at Optic Nerve, which Glenn Hetrick owns. And, I was sitting there, spewing out these ideas to him on this effect that we were going to do. And I looked at him and I said, do you think I should really try out for this show? He's like, yeah, why not? You got nothing to lose. And so I said, okay. And so I went, and I was the second person in line. There was barely anybody there. And went in and did a few tests, makeups. And next thing you know, I got called October 15th, 2010. Yes. And that was my grandmother's birthday. And they said, you're in. And so you have a few days to pack up and, be secluded for a month or so. And so I did. And ever since then, it's just been opening doors, a lot of great opportunities, meeting wonderful artists such as Steve Johnson here and many others, Tom Hester, and it's been a fabulous ride, and I'm actually very excited, and it's been great ever since. And Monsterpalooza has definitely helped a lot with getting my work out there, and I'm highly appreciative. Thank you so much to Elliot. This is one of the best conventions I've ever been to that I couldn't ask for more. So,
thanks, Megan. Any questions for Megan from any of you aspiring makeup effects artists out there? And then we'll go back to Steve. Any questions for Megan? And while you're coming up with questions, we've got viewers all around the world. And I would love for you all to take a moment and just type in the country that you're watching from. And then we'll give all of your countries a big shout out. So while we're waiting on some questions for Megan, go ahead and tell us where you're watching from.
But that doesn't mean the Steve show has to stop.
So bring us up to speed while we're waiting on some questions for Megan. Megan, tell us where we are in the makeup.
Right now, we just completed the arms. We completed the neck, and now Steve and Johnny here are working on the face. It's coming along fantastic, and I have to stress too, by the way, that our model here is wearing a Vera Wang dress. I had to stress that. It's super fabulous and very expensive, and I think I always love to, I love fashion with horror. I think it's fantastic. So, well, the whole concept. Okay. Mr. Johnson here, he decided he wanted to do a drowned victim. I said, that's fantastic. Yes. And we did, I worked on a few test makeups, and there was an inspiring moment when someone commented on Facebook about the first test makeup and said it reminded them of an Italian horror film. And I thought, well, that's really stylized. And I started thinking more into it. And I think I was at the gym one day and I was running on the treadmill, and then it just hit me really hard, an idea that, why not create more of a surrounding than just a makeup? I mean, a makeup, can go a long ways, but then you got to put in consideration the actor, how far the actor is going to take the makeup, and also the scenery. And so I said, let's put her in a atmosphere of making her look like she's on the ground in this beautiful way. But she's not laying on the ground. So what we're going to do here is that after she's done, we created a background here using burlap, peat moss, a lot of flowers, fake artificial flowers from the flower district. And we're going to create a little also performance as well, cutting holes into the background, and we're going to have some hands coming out and some music playing. Figured that if we have time, yes. But if anything, just to have beautiful photos instead of, just having the makeup done, I figured let's definitely have a beautiful scenery here for our beautiful model, even though she's dead. So incorporating, Mr. Johnson's here wonderful effects with a little bit of fashion, a little bit of style. This is really going to be brilliant. Very excited.
So Megan, we're going to get some questions too as they come in, but let's go back to Steve.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to let Steve give a shout out to all where people are. I want you to scroll through and just shout out all the various.
Good job.
How come I don't know how this goes on? You help me again.
Luddite. Hold on. He's from a different era, a bygone era. There he is, before headsets and.
Gracias, gracias.
Here we go.
Yes.
Check.
We have people joining us from all around the world,
Johnny.
all around the country. Steve, you want to read off some? We've got
Oh, cool.
a different country, first of all, Texas.
Texas, different country, my country actually. Where else have we got them? Salt Lake City, Utah, Columbia, Ireland, Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, Sweden, another Sweden, Tennessee, Finland, Montreal, North Carolina, Colombia again, Switzerland, another Switzerland, Argentina, England, Norway, Cape Town, South Africa. That's probably Ninja and Yolandi. Big fans of mine. D. Antwoord. I'm kidding. Florida, Italy, Australia, North Carolina, 20,000 leagues under the sea, Sweden again, Mexico, Brazil, New Orleans, the Netherlands, Long Island, Chile, Scotland, Iowa, Argentina, Toronto,
So they're everywhere.
They keep coming. This is amazing. Now I'm going to be nervous. I'm making a worldwide ass of myself, and I'll tell you, that's right. They can't understand me, so it's okay. Here's how I'm really going to make an ass of myself if we don't finish this and get Megan's wonderful concept going, because unfortunately we got started a little bit late this morning, and I haven't been helping at all, as usual, because I'm talking. But we do have a deadline here, so we're pushing forward. This is just like the real world here. There actually is a deadline. Like there's ADs knocking on the door every 5 minutes. How long will it take? A lot less time if you stop knocking on the door. How's that? Oh, God. Where's my makeup artist? I'm sweating like a pig over here. So, yeah, but we're getting down to the wire here. I mean, what we might have to do, unfortunately, we're going to get all of the saran wrap on. We'll probably get some airbrushing done. We'll decide to either slime this up more or dull it. But, you know, when you're working on a deadline, sometimes you have to make concessions. The only problem for me is the difference between a really wonderful effect or makeup and just a so-so one. It's always in the details. It's just getting it done in time so then you can spend that little bit extra to shoot it right over the top. So I'm hoping we'll have the time to do that today. Yeah, so we're doing good. Any more questions, Matt?
Yes, we have questions. We need a little recap on the materials that you're using for this makeup.
Okay, Mr. Johnny Leftwich and Megan Areford are helping us out here. And we've got a technique that you kids can do right at home here. It's really simple. We are using methacellulose, which is a white powder. We've mixed it into hot water and made a kind of viscous, thick colored gel here. Water soluble, very much like KY, so you could use KY for this. We've just colored it with acrylic paints. We've got 4 colors here. Kind of a purpley maroon bruisey tone, a light sickly tone, a yellow, and a green moldy tone. And we're just slathering them all on, and then we've got this saran wrap that's been heat treated to get little spider webby cool things and a nice texture, literally sticking it right on, patterning it on. What's cool about it is it's very simple, very quick, although you wouldn't believe that seeing how long we're taking, because I'm in their way half the time. But what's cool about it is a lot of organic stuff happens without having to do a typical paint job that would take probably longer. But what's really cool about it is it moves. I don't know if you can get on and tight on that and maybe on this arm. Just rotate your lower arm. It's really nasty because it kind of ends up being like almost like a gel-filled silicone appliance with the world's runniest gel, because there's a kind of very thin skin on the top that wrinkles. And this idea initially came from the wonderful mind of Mr. Bill Corso, Oscar-winning makeup artist, wonderful all-around guy. We did a mini-series, Stephen King's The Stand, and we did this one came from, which was The Shining. There is a woman in a room that's a ghost, room 309. We can never remember which one it is. She's a drowned victim, and when she gets out of the tub, Bill came up with this idea of just slathering on, what's that? I don't know. Does it matter what room number it is? Unless you're staying at the real hotel, you don't want to stay in that room. But he came up with this idea. She gets out of the bathtub, and as she walks, there's a close-up on her feet, and it just does some amazing stuff. It's not the most durable technique in the world, but we did shoot a short film with this very technique just about 10 days ago, and it worked out really great, actually. And it worked on the stand, so I wouldn't recommend it for a 40-day shoot, but for a couple hours, it's fun, and it's easy, and it's inexpensive, and it washes right off in the shower, so it's got a lot of good things going for it as well.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
We have a question from Monkeys Must Die 777.
Excellent.
How do makeup color choices interact with the type of on-set lighting? How do on-set lighting and makeup choices go together?
Hugely important. Very, very, very good question. You typically a makeup trailer where you're doing your makeup has a lighting scenario somewhat like this, where you've got banks of light on either side of the mirror that you're doing the makeup in. That's never going to look the same when you get to set. No matter if it's daylight balance, tungsten balance, whatever, color, whatever, because color temperature. What matters is what the audience sees in the theater, right? So you have to get your makeup out and look at it in the light, or as in close to the light as it's actually going to be photographed in as possible. I cannot tell you how many times I've done makeups or seen other people do makeups in a trailer, and they go, wow, this looks amazing. You take it out, and you see that there's a garish lighting design that completely wipes out everything you've done, and it doesn't show up at all. or in some cases you've overdone it in the trailer and now it looks like hell when you take it out there. So it's the most important thing is to get it out in the light with enough time to go back and fix it, or if you can, fix it right there on set, because that's how the camera's going to see it, that's how the audience is going to see it.
Steve, we got another question here from TFRE Turns. Steve, with Halloween coming up, what kind of really quick and effective effects could you do with the most basic of household supplies?
How about a drowned victim with pruny skin?
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
All you need is some KY and tissues, and you're in business. Because you can do this with you can use it with tissues. When we shot it for the film recently, we did just use tissues. What we did in that case was we separated the ply. So it was really, really thin, because when we tested this, the director felt it was a little too much. Actually, he rewrote the script the night before, and instead of being 9 days dead, she was 9 hours dead. So we really had to change our concept. So we used this instead, and this is much more subtle. And again, you don't have to use Methacel, you don't have to use colored KY. You can use K-Rose syrup, that'll stick it on there. You can use cotton balls. What day is today?
Today is Sunday,
No,
October
the
13th.
date. How long is the 13th? You've got time to order the Dick Smith Monster Makeup Handbook. You can order it, and there's a lot of very, very simple, easy to do makeup techniques you can do there with stuff you don't even need professional supplies with at all. A lot of cool stuff. So yeah, it's going to get you gooey though.
By the way, the room, thanks Michael Ledoux. How you doing, dude? We had fun with you at YouTube last week. Also, Inertia Crocodile said room 237.
Room
It's
237.
Room 237. All right,
Good.
here's a question for you. This
It did
is
it.
from a few people.
You can take a look at what it did.
When are you getting back into makeup effects full time?
This is it.
Is that
it's
going
a
to
little-
happen?
Has it? I'm not sure how many coats it is actually. Johnny did it, so. Sorry, I'll be right with you, Matt.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna finish it and then we're gonna see what we want to do. We might make her slimy or spray that on it. Okay, when am I getting back into effects? What do you call this, kids? This is a huge effect. Well, you know what I said earlier about staying interested and keeping myself excited. I've taken a little hiatus from the effects world because you know, I wanted to keep myself interested and excited, and trust me, after 30 years in the Lion's Den, you might want a little bit of a break too. 30 years of doing anything, being a plumber, being a painter or an effects artist, sometimes you just want to crawl into a cave and lick your wounds for a while. Or take a break. I've been traveling. I spent a year in the jungle in Costa Rica, and I've been writing, which is a wonderfully creative thing. I really like that. And I'm very much hoping that that my memoir is about to come out. I've got a great second meeting with a publisher next week. It's very tough to get in the publishing industry. I might as well have decided to become a 50-year-old rock star. I probably would have gotten it together a little quicker than this because I've been writing. I've got 3.5 books completed now, and still no agent, no publishing deal. But I'm getting really close on my memoir because it turns out, guess what? People want to read about the film industry. It's like, how can I write a book that is, but this is not anything about the film industry. So there's a lot of interest in that. When am I getting back in the effects industry? I kind of think that I'm rebuilding my brand now to do an awful lot of things. I've got a lot of projects in the works right now, and most of them are kind of effects oriented. Not to say that I'm going to be opening a studio again and doing the same thing that I used to, but definitely effects oriented projects that take quite a bit of time to lay the groundwork and get happening. Huge projects usually don't happen overnight. So yeah. Some of them I probably shouldn't talk about on live TV, but I've got a lot of very cool things in the works. And I have to say, in the novels I've written, my guilty pleasure is always to create the beast, right? Whether it's in someone's mind or a hallucination. I'm not writing horror per se, but there are horrific elements to everything I write, of course, look at me. But it's really fun. It's really fun to create a beast in yours, the reader's mind, because instead of sculpting with clay, now I'm sculpting with words. And I can, the goal is to try to get the audience to feel what I want them to feel, but from a very different perspective than sculpting and molding and applying. So it's been utterly a blast these last few years to, reach out and try some different things and see other ways of being creative that are really satisfying to me. So.
Hey, Steve,
Yes.
I'm seeing that some serious facial stuff is happening. Can we
Yes.
get in there tight, Jake, on
I think
camera?
we should definitely start the plastic now. Are we about to start?
And bring
Okay.
people up to speed on this
Good.
face work that's happening?
Yeah, we're about to apply some plastic. And again, what I was saying earlier, because we don't want to get too close to her eyes, we'll see how close we get. We may be able to use blenders well, I'll try it right now, see if it works. A blender just out of tissue. Where's the red color? Oh, here it is.
Hey, Steve, while
Yes.
we're looking at that makeup, tell us a little bit about your relationship with Tom Savini. We know you spent some time working.
Yes, Tom Savini, the Sultan of Splatter. There's so many names for him. What are they? Tom Savini, the Maestro of the Macabre. That's anybody else? Make some more up. I love Tom. I've known Tom for 25 years, and he's a wonderful, wonderful man. He's doing a lot of interesting stuff himself these days. He's acting. He's doing a lot of acting, and he was just in Tarantino's new film. And of course, he's got his effects program going on in Menneson, right outside of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. That kind of works. Little blender with tissue there. You can't screw up a zombie, right? We could put cornflakes on it. It would work. So yeah, I went over there to the school for about a year to kind of answer a question to the owner of the school, and the question was this: what are we not giving the students? And I looked at their curriculum and I thought, well, you know what? You're not really showing what it's like to be in the trenches of movie making, what deadlines are, what budgets are, what it's like to have your makeup in front of a camera, what it's like to work with a team when it really, really matters because you're actually filming it. So what we did is we wrote it with my class. We wrote a short film, and I taught them how to take the written word and translate it from design, budget, scheduling, and of course all the normal processes to get something up on camera on the screen. And we made a little short movie, which is really fun. Really, really, really cool. Is he really? Johnny Leftwich here plays Death because he's 7,000 feet tall. And the goal was to give all the kids something they could be really proud of. And I learned this from Rick Baker. When I worked at Rick Baker's studio, he would give us a project. He would say, no, we don't have a mold department. We don't have a sculpture department. You're going to design it. You're going to sculpt it. You're going to mold it. You're going to figure the damn thing out, and you're going to take it all the way through. Now, that was really, really smart because he knew that if we could go to the theater and point to our family and friends and say, look, I did that. I wasn't just a cog in the wheel, but I actually did this. Look at this. I keep forgetting there's a makeup going on here. And I keep talking to the wrong camera. It's this one, right? I'm making a fool of myself. So that's what I did. That's what I did with the kids at Savini High, as we so fondly call it.
Hey, guess what? Tom Savini is watching this broadcast. Hey, Tom.
Is it okay to give him the finger?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Tom, what's happening? I'm kidding, Tom.
And
I
he
love
says
you, Tom.
Machete Kills is his newest.
Machete Kills. Excellent. Good for you. So yeah, that's what we did. We gave each of the 15 students one of their a project to see all the way through, and they did it. And I'm so happy with the film. It turned out really well, and I actually really enjoyed teaching. I didn't know what a syllabus was. They said I had to write a syllabus when I first went out there, and I'm like, I don't even know what one is. How am I? It has to be approved by the government. But I learned and slowly lowered myself into the whole process. Taking a film guy of 30 years and having him work in an administrative scenario is kind of like a square peg in a round hole, but it was such a great learning experience, and I have to say the students were absolutely amazing. They really were.
Steve,
yes.
Tom is very, very, very serious about us relaying this message to you.
Yes.
Steve, I love you.
Okay,
This
good.
is from Tom Savini.
This is.
Is this the greatest bromance
Tom,
in makeup effects
I
history?
love you too. You know it, Tom. Who else out there wants to tell me how much they love me?
We all love you.
I like being loved.
If you
This
love
is great.
Steve Johnson, just write it in the comments. I love you, and he'll know how loved he is. We have a kind of an interesting question here from Stephen Buono. He says,
This thing is
and
driving
I think
me
you'll
crazy.
identify with this one, Steve.
Yes.
He says, my brain seems to never stop creating, and it's always running at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yes.
I dream about the things I do and I'm creating. Is there a way to make those thoughts slow down a bit? And I'm sure you have some ways to do that, but we should talk about the ways that are legal.
Damn it, Matt, you know me all too well. There are also some illegal ways to make you have even more and better ideas, actually, which well, they're legal in some countries, so I can recommend them if you're in that country. How do you make your brain slow down? That's a good one. I mean, I would suggest. Usually that's a really interesting question, because usually you were asked the other question: how do you come up with ideas? And that's an easy answer for that one. But to make your brain slow down, I would say try doing something that's the opposite. If you like horror movies, watch a romantic comedy. Maybe that'll knock you off your ass and you'll just be able to get some sleep. That's a really hard question. That's the first question I can't answer today. I don't know. Thanks a lot, Matt. But I can answer the opposite of that question. In order to feed your creativity, you have to, what I consider to do is to fill your well. Because if you have nothing to reach into for ideas, you're going to come up with a dry bucket, right? And the way I consider filling my well is to expose myself to all kinds of different things, from museums to travel, meeting new people, nature, just getting yourself out of your normal scenario, listening to kinds of music that you're not necessarily used to listening to. Of course, reading, all of these things, because what you're doing, except for his kind of music, don't listen to that. It's angry and hateful. What you're doing when you pull all of this stuff in is your brain is drinking it, and whether you know it or not, it's still there. It stays there and it mixes up, and it kind of, when you need an idea later, you've got somewhere to go, and you sometimes won't even remember where it came from, but it's all mixing around in there and gestating until you need it. Your well will be full, and you'll be able to pull up a nice full bucket. How's that? I answered the opposite of his question.
Okay, we have another question here, and this has been answered earlier in the broadcast, but it's a good one. By the way, you got a lot of I love yous, Steve.
Oh, excellent. Keep them coming, kids.
Tortaro 101 loves you. White Lion 44 loves you and your work. Offspring 373 loves you. Janelle Turley loves you. Stephen Buono loves you. Kyle Barker loves you. Roni Me gave you a heart. Mitchell McEwen likes you. So sorry, it's not 100%. And of course, Tom Savini has written that he loves you about 4 times. So I want to know. I want to know what happened.
Everybody at Monsterpalooza, big hand for Tom Savini.
Tom Savini,
Godfather of Gore.
We all love you, Tom. Get out to L.A. We have a question from Colin Velkoff.
Yes.
Do you think practical effects are going to come back and be more prominent in films with CGI becoming so commonplace?
I do, actually. I do think that practical effects are already making a bit of a resurgence, thanks to wonderful events like Monsterpalooza, thanks to your absolutely shining testament of a school to this art. And I think there is an absolute, it's almost a backlash, or maybe a nicer word would be to call it a nostalgia for handmade things, not just in the practical effects world, but a lot of people. There are huge movements called the maker movements, where people are going back to basics. And I really do think Guillermo del Toro does a wonderful job of blending the two types of effects. And a lot of the smarter filmmakers now are listening to their audiences and paying attention. And if you look around at an event like this art is as alive, if not more so, than ever. It's unbelievable to see all of the amazing art here, and the fact that people are now doing it to a large degree, a lot of times, for literally just the passion and the love of the art. So this is not happening for no reason at all. The more talented people are out there honing this craft, the more healthy this business is going to be. How we doing? Good.
Everybody loves Steve, except for Mitchell McEwen, who just likes you. It's very strange, but
Let's
I
see how
love
we're
it.
doing on time. No, it's looking good. It's looking good. I think we'll just do that, and maybe we'll just slime. I would cut that right there so we don't have that stretch, and we'll just take a small brush and slime that shut. All right, and then cut it loose. And I think we got to move. And we'll do some airbrushing next. I think. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Great question here from OK.
Oh, shit, we've only got
How
30
much would
minutes.
this makeup effect cost all in?
$1.280. Well, this makeup effect, let's say if you bought the Methacel as a powder, if you ordered it online from Namie's Beauty Supply or from Friends Beauty Supply or Berman Industries, that's only $22. Need a couple buckets to mix it in, a couple dollar store containers, so let's go with $30. Some mixing popsicle sticks, that's $32. Some acrylic paints, all you really need are the basic primaries and a little white to mix the colors we came up with here. So let's say another 10, we're up to $40. Wow, this is getting expensive, isn't it? Some saran wrap costs probably $3, that's $43. Some yarn, you could probably do this for $50. That sounds expensive. Well, you could also probably shoplift some of the stuff, or if you have saran wrap at home, that'll cut $3 out of it. No, I'm kidding, don't shoplift, kids. Okay, we need to move on this. Should I start thinking about airbrushing? We just need to clean the eyes up, get that excess off. And Johnny, while I'm airbrushing, why don't you two work on cleaning these hands up and anything you see up there to keep the face. I'm just going to airbrush the eyes. I'm going to do a little airbrush. Yeah, we got to get her out of here in about 30 minutes, so we got to rush it up.
Okay, guys, we're going to put Steve to work. So we want to get a good angle on the makeup, Jake. Let's get right in there and find a good spot for Steve so our viewers at home can see what's going on. It's absolutely repulsive. Mission accomplished.
This is literally just rubber mask grease paint from a Krylon palette, thinned down with alcohol. I'm running through a double action airbrush here. Now that I know what a double action airbrush is. Oh shit, that helped actually. Johnny, can you finish that so I can get our eyes? Trim that and get that to not happen. Well, we have
Okay,
those
guys,
cuticle scissors
I'm going to give you a
somewhere. I
heads
just don't know
up.
where
It's
they
Matt
went.
Winston.
We did. I brought
Steve's going to
them.
be with us, and Megan
Because yeah, we
and
need to cut her
Johnny
mouth
and
loose,
Lauren are going to
too.
be with us for a little while
Shut your
longer.
eyes, please.
But we wanted to give you all a heads up that after about a half-hour break, we're going to come back and do a series of interviews here live from Son of Monsterpalooza. You're going to get a chance to meet a whole bunch of people, including Steve Wang and Don Post and who else is out there? Casey Love and Jordu Shell. And this place is just crawling with brilliant people. And we're going to bring them into our booth and host a little talk show, a monster talk show. So stick around. It's going to be awesome. We've never done anything like that before. So stick around for our first ever
Did you find, we
Monster
didn't find those scissors,
Roundtable,
did we?
Monster Maker Roundtable right after this event.
Yep. I need the eyes fixed because I want to paint around them.
And I see 217 watching at this very moment. Will you all please like this broadcast if you haven't already? Just click on the thumbs up.
Yeah, once you get the eyes fixed.
Right below the
I
video
can-
player.
I'll do the.
That will
you can do
help
the
push
hand.
this video up our feed so more people can see it. Hope that answers your question about what's next, Kyle Barker. Hey, Chad Walker wants to know, I know you're working,
Yeah.
Steve, and it might be harder to answer this.
Yeah.
Chad Walker wants to know, how did you guys achieve the low pan glowing effect in Big Trouble in
That
Little
was
China?
an animatronic head speared out by Mark Wilson, the puppeteer that wore the Ghostbusters, the costume, the Slimer costume in Ghostbusters. It was made of hot melt vinyl. We didn't have clear silicones at the time. And so it was made of hot melt vinyl, the same stuff fishing lures are made of. And we painted it with powders. We made it very, very translucent, put electronic lights inside of it. The reason we painted the outside with powders is because it reflected the light back, and without destroying the translucency of the actual material. And then when we faded up the lights on the inside, we faded the lights down on the outside, so that it appeared to be glowing from within, because it was, but we lost the reflection from the powders that we had painted with on the outside. So it was a cool little trick. Okay, yeah, you can absolutely work on the hands. Yes.
We've also had a very, very, very patient man waiting to hear a little bit about Poltergeist 2 and your Giger influences for Species. Or it was Giger's design, right, initially?
On Poltergeist 2, absolutely, and
Species
2, absolutely.
Can you talk about those projects and working with Giger? I don't know if you had a chance to meet him.
Oh, yes, I met him, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
He's a very interesting man, H.R. Giger. The absolute artist's artist. I mean, he's never satisfied with his own work or anything, and in a lot of cases, not satisfied with the actual technicians that bring his work to the screen. And he's very, very vocal about that. He often tries to be quite involved himself regarding, and he was very involved in the first Aliens as well. The thing about Giger is, when I got the call I did Poltergeist 2 with him first. We were doing that at Richard Edlund's Boss Film Corporation, so it wasn't actually my company yet. And he was very pleased. He sent over someone, one of his lead artists from Switzerland, to kind of supervise the work. And so he really had nothing if he had something to complain about, he'd have to bitch at his own guy. So we got off scot-free on that one. But then, yeah, it's just a little bit of this goo. It's on that one? Yeah, it's a little bit of this goo. So when we got the call to do Species, I really wanted to go out of my way to make him very, very, very happy. I'll try to keep it off your other ones. Which I think a lot of times people mistook his wanting to do a very, very good job for being like a bitchy artist. So I just took my time, and I took his phone calls, and I took his faxes, and he was very, very pleased that I actually listened to him. The only problem came, so he was really happy with our work on Species, and I felt that was a great, great feather in my cap that I actually made him happy. But then when it came to time to do Species 2, he couldn't get his deal finalized with the production. So his negotiations drug on and on and on and on, and I'm not getting any more time to build all those effects, and there were a lot of practical effects in that film, huge creatures. And so I, at some point, had to start building, based on his initial designs and based on just what I thought would work and what we could get done in the amount of time and money. And he was outraged. He was absolutely outraged. I can't say on live television some of the things he said over faxes. He would stay up late at night hand drawing horrible cartoons of me and Richard Edlund and everybody on the producers on the show, just insulting cartoons and fax them over. So he was really angry on Species 2. So yeah, that was my experience with Giger. 2 good ones, 1 bad one, but that's better than most can say, I think. Okay, what else do we need to do? I'm going to try a little dark airbrush real quick. Yes.
1 second. Sorry. We've had a few questions about gelatin for creating cost-effective makeups at home. What do you think about gelatin?
I love gelatin. We used it quite a bit before silicone was the norm in the industry. We used a lot of gelatin. Sorry, I'm distracted here. We tried foaming gelatin, which was a really interesting idea for a long time, because gelatin, sometimes it's kind of difficult to get the actual the flexibility that you need. Certainly not as flexible as silicone. So, but you know, there's a lot of great uses for it still. Absolutely, it's easy and it's inexpensive. These days, the silicones are getting pretty expensive as well, though. So I'm not sure what the advantage is. I guess it would depend on the application, what you're doing it exactly for. Okay. Do you want to shut your eyes for a moment? I'm just going to airbrush around your eye sockets.
Necro Angel declares war. Says, hey Steve, I've made some effects and I had some issues when applying horns. Latex tends to
Keep them shut
detach when the
until I let you
sweat
open them,
appears. So how would you attach horns to a makeup so that they'd be secure?
That is a great question. It's going to be different every single time depending on the size of the horns. Step one, you got to make them as absolutely lightweight as possible. We just had a huge issue. Johnny also played the devil in our film we did for the Savini School, and he had really huge horns. Sorry. And it was tough. It was really tough on him. Some type of head plate, a vacuform head plate, or a fiberglass head plate with bolts on it. But the horns need to be able to be removed for the actor's comfort. You got to be able to pop them on and off. Now, since we're running so low on time, should we just do it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we? Oh, we got to get the hand done.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Okay, so what else do we need to do? Need your hair?
Do your hair.
Okay.
With the eyes, lips.
Hey Steve, would you have considered using a spray wax mold release as a matting agent on this makeup? That's from the Mecha Mouse.
Yes, that is an absolute great question. We tested this with dulling spray, and the dulling spray worked out really well. And oh yeah, we didn't spray her with dulling spray. We sprayed the plastic before we put it on. And then Kenny Myers was nice enough to, and the fabulous people over at PPI booth give us this matting spray here. But we are running really low on time, unfortunately, so we're going to call her a slimy, wet drown victim today because we're running low on time. We want to get her on her background. And
Killian Gonzalez says, please, Steve, continue adding stuff on your YouTube channel. It was so great, and you haven't uploaded anything for a while.
I know,
And
it was
everybody
great.
who hasn't subscribed to the channel, do it now. Can you just give a shout out to where they can go to subscribe?
Yes, Rubber Rules, YouTube. Type in Steve Johnson FX. It's one of the first things. Steve Johnson, letters FX. One of the first things that'll come up is Rubber Rules on YouTube. It was a great thing. It was a great kind of very irreverent, humorous look at the industry. I was involved in a design company that I opened in Tennessee with a partner, and there's a lot of great television people. I'm going to airbrush you right here. A lot of great television people in Knoxville, Tennessee, and they said, wow, this is a gold mine. Let's just do this. Let's make it available to the fans for free. And I thought, wow, that's kind of, just like teaching. Keep your eyes shut, please. Just like teaching, I feel it's really a responsibility at this point to share this stuff. I've got so many photographs, designs, behind-the-scenes footage of tests we've done. In a lot of cases, the stuff we did looks better than in our tests, in our photographs, than it ended up in the movie. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do with all these thousands of hours of archives and hundreds of thousands of designs and photos? Might as well make them available to the public. Unfortunately, these wonderful people over at Eon Entertainment, who also cut a couple of behind-the-scenes DVDs on the making of The Abyss and Ghostbusters, and I think a couple of other ones. How long is it going to take to get tired of doing all of that work? Because they did a very, very good job to produce the Rubber Rules episodes and not really make any money for it. So that's kind of on hold, but we do have some other ideas that I really want to take great advantage of the archives with, because I really do feel a responsibility to get that out there to the public, because people love that stuff. The behind-the-scenes stuff, it's great.
Hey, Steve, you'll be happy to know that Mitchell McCune, who only liked you when everyone else was saying, I love Steve.
Does Mitchell love me now?
He says, okay, I finally love Steve Johnson.
Mitchell! Excellent,
and it's all
excellent.
Caps. You have
know
been
what?
seduced,
Should I put
Mitchell.
the lenses in?
Ron Cole
Do whatever
is
you want on
saying,
the face. Do whatever you want anywhere. I'm going to wash my hands out again. Matt.
Yes.
I am going to have to disconnect and go, or turn off, and go wash my hands so I can put her lenses in.
Go do it.
Yeah? Thanks.
Yep. Let's get a really good shot of this makeup for everyone at home. And you're going to hear me. This is Matt Winston. We've been hanging all day long with you guys. This has been such a fun broadcast.
Can you wash my hands for me?
Such great questions coming in all around the world. Just a reminder that Steve is going to be wrapping it up in the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm guessing. And then we are going to take a very short break, and we will be back with our very first ever Monster Maker Roundtable. We're going to invite various amazing effects artists that you know and love into our booth for a live interview show that you guys can be a part of. We're going to have Steve Wang in here. We're going to have Joy Duchel and Casey Love and Don Post, the legendary mask maker, and the Kyoto brothers are going to come in. So stick around. Right after this broadcast, we'll be rebooting about half hour after this goes down, and we'll be posting the link on our Facebook page. So after we stop this broadcast, just visit the Stan Winston School Facebook page, and we'll be posting that link. So hope you all have been having a good time. While we're waiting for Steve, I'm going to put this on Megan so she can kind of bring you up to speed on these final steps. Hey, Jake, will you reframe up on Megan?
Testing. Okay, fantastic. All right, just to finish up this makeup right now, we're going to incorporate a little bit of glamour in here. Most of my beauty products I use is strictly Urban Decay. Right now I'm using Big Fatty Urban Decay Mascara. So what we're going to do here is make her look like we're going to give her some mascara and then have it running down because, of course, as much as waterproof mascara is, it never usually is fully waterproof. So we can definitely manipulate this before it dries. Because once this mascara dries, it's on there for a while. Huh? Oh, you can still put it. Yeah.
Right on the other side of this.
Look up. Not that I can think of right now. Not right now.
They're listening to you, Megan.
Oh, yes. Hello.
They're all listening around the world.
Oh. I feel like, I don't know, back in like Howard Stern. Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Okay, yeah. So do the eyes, and then I'll put the lenses in.
Okay.
And then, should her lips be a little bluer, do you think?
That's what I'm gonna do next.
Okay,
Yep.
great. And then what do we do?
And then we just
We just do it then.
we just have her stand. Yeah, we can, whatever.
Okay, so it's done. Okay, great. It'll be done. Oh, you know what? It's looking really, really shiny on the monitor here. After we get the lenses in, I would like to hit a little bit of her with the dulling spray. But that takes seconds.
Again, yeah. Again, a lot of the products that we are using as of lately right now, we use Skill Illustrators for the legs, which you will see here momentarily. And then again, we are using a little bit of Urban Decay makeup as well. Just because it's beauty makeup does not mean you cannot use it in special effects. Again, makeup is makeup, and whenever you're in a rut or have an issue, they can always... If it's beauty or effects, you can always use it to make it work.
Is that about how much you put on? Definitely dulls it. I like our little blisters that we've got going. These webbies. I think I'll spray her after the lenses. Are you going to do more drippies of the mascara?
Excuse me?
You going to make the mascara drip? Or is it?
Sure. I was going to do it after the contact lenses.
Okay, should I do the lenses now then?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever worn lenses?
Yeah, I wear contacts.
are you wearing lenses now? Okay, great. These are bigger than your granny's contacts. What's that? Have you worn these before? Okay, I'll do my best. I'm very experienced in putting these in, but some people, are more sensitive than others. So let's just see what happens. I pride myself on that. I can put a tennis shoe in a squirrel's eye. Okay, tilt your head back. Look up. Slowly shut. Okay, keep your eyes shut for a moment. Now look left, down, up, and right. How does that feel? Does it really? Okay, great. Lenses are so important. Can you see with them? These lenses, by the way, are stock lenses from a gentleman named Rob Hall, who runs a company called Almost Human. If you were paying attention earlier in the broadcast, I was explaining the digital head removal he's doing for the short film we did. He's taking care of that too. So Rob was gracious enough to give us these lenses and torture our poor actors. Excellent. It's the first time I've ever had anybody be happy when I put a pair of lenses in them. Okay, now be very still. Look up. Let me grab your lashes, just like I did. Look up with your eyes. It's not going to go in. I'm going to try the other one. I'm sorry. Oops. Yeah, this one's way better. This one's way better. Don't try this at home, kids. You see how big that contact lens is? I'm a professional. Yeah. I can get a tennis shoe in a squirrel's eye. Okay, one more time. This one's just like the other one. It should go in very easily. Look up, concentrate. Shot. Look around. How's it feel? Looks great. Okay, you want to continue with the mascara running?
Yes, sir.
I just fucked it up getting the lenses in.
It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, look, we're hurrying like we do on real movie sets.
Yep. Oh, it's gonna dry in a second. It's just alcohol makeup.
You all right?
Just swirl them around.
Good? Okay. So what do you got? More blacky?
Yeah, and
Blacky
then we'll be good.
drippies?
And we'll be
Drippies?
good.
Okay.
Drippies.
And that's it. I guess we're good. Okay, well, we're just about finished, but because we have to be finished. Remember what I said earlier? You just have to know when to call it done. When we did this one for the actual YouTube movie, I wouldn't call it done. I think I went 2 hours over schedule, but this time we absolutely have to be done on the nose. This was a 3-hour makeup thanks to these guys, and that's a lot of coverage there. Oh, I'm sorry,
It's
Megan.
good.
Let's get her hair back in her face. So, yeah, I do want to put some dulling spray on it and see how that works, and I think that's it. Another thing you can and should always do, you know who should be your best friend? Maybe sometimes even more than the director on set. is the director of photography, because he's got an eagle's eye for what's going through the lens. And a lot of times you can get great help from the director of photography if you've got a little issue with a seam, or sometimes you might even notice something. And even I've gone to the outrageous lengths of lighting my own shots sometimes, which usually doesn't go over too well with them, but the lighting is so important. Oh, that looks great. When we're done with that, we'll spray some.
Okay.
Is that good? Okay, great. Do you want to drip just a little water on it? So maybe it'll run a little better. Is this real mascara?
No, actually, this is Urban Decay's Smoke Palette.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Urban Decay, ladies and gentlemen,
Urban
great
Decay.
stuff. With a name like that, how can it not be good? Do we want to spray her face now? Do you want to spray her face? Yeah. You keep your eyes very shut. Get her neck, her upper shoulders, anything that needs it. Just blast her with it.
All right.
Whoa. Oh, has he? You notice how Johnny was using a spoon to cover her eyes while he sprayed this. Always a good idea. I think we're going to call this done. Let's stand you up. If you want to move in position. Look how effective the contact lenses are. It's just looks so much more horrifying with the lenses. I don't know if I think this looks too shiny or not, but since we're in a pinch for time, we're going to leave it like this. One thing I might want to do would be to put a layer of clear Methacel on it and make it even more shiny. But again, the thing that's really cool about this makeup technique, I don't know how many times you've seen it.
Sorry about that.
Is the way that it moves. If you can just take a look at just rotate the arms in there and get some, not the back of them because it's falling apart, but it moves and the shoulders move really nicely. And move your neck back. Move it side to side. I mean, that's pretty horrifying stuff right there. Move it to that side. I mean, that's really interesting stuff. And let's see, you want to raise your forehead? All right, do we want to take some pictures? And then get you out of this? Where's my camera? Turn your head this way.
Thank you.
Look up a little bit, up to that direction. Right.
The long lens.
Horrifying.
Hold these for me. Yes.
Look in this direction, please.
Hey guys, We see there's some questions coming in. Just doing a quick photo shoot to capture this makeup for posterity. So Stephen Buono says, this came out so great. Way to go, everyone. Jyort
Thank
says
you.
she looks so sad. Scotty the Bullet says she looks like Courtney Love on a good day. Kyle Barker says she's dying. Of course she's sad. White Lion adds, well, dying is a downer experience. Ron Cole says, thank you to everyone in the chat for being mature and polite. I've seen live shows where the chat is filled with morons. Well, we don't allow morons here at Stan Winston School. Well, we actually do. I'm one.
I hope you got some close-ups of how it moves now that it's done. Were you panning around on the arms and neck?
Let's get right in there, Jake, and really get a good look at this makeup.
How about those lenses, huh?
And everyone is giving you big props, Lauren, for the lenses. You're a big trooper, they say. Christine Scarborough says, looks amazing. Okay says, how long ago were these type of crazy, awesome lenses invented? Well, lenses have been around forever, okay, but not commercially available like they are today. That's a more recent development. I mean, not for the average consumer. Usually makeup effects artists would have to go directly to Dr. Greenspoon and others for stuff like this.
Yeah.
Killian Gonzalez says, somebody tell Matt to track the bastard who disliked this stream. No, I'm sure, no. We allow free speech here at Stan Winston School. And if you
Everyday,
don't like the
ordinary
stream,
household materials.
that's your prerogative. But if you do like the stream and you haven't
did in
clicked the
3 hours.
thumbs up yet, please do it now. Because that will move this video to the top of our feed and everyone will get to see it. Scary Zach says, please give Steve a shout out from his son in Monessen. We're old friends. Am I pronouncing it right? Is it Monessen? Monessen. Hey, White Lion, thanks for thanking us for making this possible. It isn't just me and Steve. It's a big crew here making this happen. We're going to pan around the room and you'll get to meet everyone who's a part of this live broadcast soon. Just a reminder, we're going to be segueing into our first ever Monster Maker live roundtable right after this broadcast. We're going to be talking to some of the best in the business, including Steve Wang, the Kyoto brothers, Terry Wolfinger, Simon Lee. Terry Wolfinger, Simon Lee, Jordy Ushell, Casey Love, Don Lanning, Don Post, Bruce D. Mitchell, and more. So stick around with us all day long. We're going to have an awesome Monster Maker interview show. Mr. Laserblade, we're so happy you've been inspired by this broadcast and all the other stuff going on at Stan Winston School. Let's see what you do with that knowledge. Create some makeup effects and share it with us on our Facebook wall. Creation X says, Steve, you are a legend. Thank you. Kyle Barker loves the vein work. Okay says, much respect to everyone that made this girl into what we are seeing.
One more picture for me.
And Red Clark says, please thank Steve from the bottom of our hearts. Seriously, he's so generous with his info. Great job, everyone, on the makeup.
Oh, it's so blown out here. What the hell?
Jim Clenny says, awesome work. I'll definitely try this method for makeup.
Perfect. Just like that. Stay like that. Oh, I fucked my camera up. What the hell did I do? One second. See if I'm still blown out. I'm not great. Turn your head right back like you did. Look at that. Okay, family photo. Oh, with all three of us? But she's slimy. See, most makeups deteriorate throughout the day. This one's looking better as she goes along. She's actually rotting before our eyes. Her skin's coming off. Yes, we should get you out. How are you going to get out of that?
Can I start stripping it?
Pictures. Oh, contacts first. Good, good, good.
Nice. Man, I wish I had time to do it.
Thank you. Excuse me? Jesus Christ, that came off quick. Look at that. Shall I get the lenses? Tilt your head back just a little bit. Don't move her. That's amazing how quickly that comes off. It's the best part of it. I mean, honestly, normally this process takes hours sometimes for that much coverage to get off. This is easy. Okay, your other eye. Toss it over here for me, would you? Excellent. All right, we're in the removal process. I think that wraps up our session, right, Matt?
Yes. Can you come in? Hey, Chris, will you bring me the headset? No, it's gone already.
Isn't that amazing how quick?
Wait,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't get to kiss her.
I'm so sorry. She's on such a tight schedule. I'm sorry.
No worries.
It showed how quickly you can get a makeup off.
So guys, let's all give a huge round of applause to Steve Johnson, Megan Areford, and Johnny Leftwich, and Lauren Lakis.
Nice one.
This has been an absolutely hilarious, informative, and fun 3 hours here at Son of Monsterpalooza. We're going to go right into a Monster Maker roundtable. Steve Wang will be joining us. The Kyoto brothers will be joining us. Casey Love, Jordu Shell, Simon Lee, Terry Wolfinger. A whole bunch of great artists are going to be coming to our booth. We're going to clear all this stuff out, and we're going to have an interview show. We've never done this before, so stick around. You're going to meet a whole bunch of people. We're going to be actually posting the link in the comments section of this broadcast so you can easily find us, because we're going to go dark for like half hour or so while we're clearing out this space. But please stick around and join us for the next one. We'll post that link on Facebook as well very shortly. There's Don Lanning. We're going to be talking to this guy, and he's going to be bringing some of his art over to the booth. Hey, Don. And let's also take a moment to thank our staff and our crew for helping make this happen.
Yes.
It looks so easy, but it takes a lot of people. So, Jake, why don't you man the camera, and let's pan around. I'm Matt Winston. We have Chris Vaughn back here, Stan Winston School Live Wonderkind. We have, he's not young. You can't see, but if Johnny could go real high, no, he can't see. We got, no, that's okay. Behind this screen, there's more people who you'll meet. Pan around to Eric. We have Stan Winston School co-founder Eric Lidoff. We come around to Jake Borowski on camera there. There's Jake. And do a little selfie if you can, John. Here, I'll hold it. This is John Ailes, creative director of Stan Winston School. If you like the way our lessons look, this man is completely responsible for that. And there's some other people milling around, but I'm going to get out of the way here. We're going to keep the broadcast going so that we can share the new link with you guys before we end this broadcast. So stick around and watch Steve Johnson clean up his mess. Here. Do you mind wearing this while you clean up your mess? Are you kidding? Just in case? Are you kidding? It's live, dude. All right. Sorry.
Where did she go?
And it's confounding, to be sure. This is
He made a fool of me on live television, but I didn't know how to do it.
Matt did?
Yes. Excellent. Okay, good.
Your mic was off when you were talking to Zach.
Oh, it was?
You want to say something?
Hey, Zach, it turns out my mic's not on now yet either. Oh, is it Zach? I turns out my microphone off when I was off when I was talking to you. Hey, how's it going? How'd you like the show? Say hi to Raphael. Say hi to everybody. Bet you wish you're out in L.A.
They all do eventually. So where are you guys going for lunch?
While we're doing this, can he help us clear out?
Hey, I know that chair's like super slimy.
Dude, you were fantastic.
Thank you so much. That was actually a blast. It was really fun. And see, I learned I can't be concentrating on the makeup because then I can't. Yeah. Cool. Pardon me. It's not fair.
It's not fair. It's just cool.
Oh, I have to take it from you again. I don't know why.
Love you, kid.
Oh, that's fine. I like it.
We are live, so we are apologizing in several different ways. I'm not sure what Matt promised. However, I will say this about that. That was an afternoon with Steve Johnson and his team. That was very cool here at Son of Palooza, and we are going to be setting up a second live event on YouTube, which will be a series of interviews Matt will do from the floor here at Monsterpalooza. And I think at this moment, since there is nobody else to be here, we're going to thank you all for joining us. And Matt's going to come on, wave at you one last time. We'll be posting all over our Facebook page in the next 10 or 15 minutes the link, or maybe in 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Maybe even longer.
It might be tomorrow.
Might be tomorrow.
We're going to be.
Talk into your mic.
That would be great.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I said we were going to post the link to the next event in the comments of this event. Turns out that's impossible to do. YouTube won't allow you to post a URL in comments. All I can tell you is it's 2:40 now, Pacific time. I would say if you go to our Facebook page in 20 minutes, make it 30 to be safe. You'll see the new link there. And like I said, it's going to be a monster roundtable with some of the best in the business. Simon Lee, Steve Wang, Casey Love, Jordu Shell, the Kyoto Brothers, Terry Wolfinger, Bruce D. Mitchell, and more right here in our booth. Come, go to our Facebook page, Stan Winston School, in 30 minutes for the link. And thank you all for joining us today. We've had an absolute blast. No surprise, it's Steve Johnson after all. All right, Steve, you rock. All right, now clean up your goo. It's goo everywhere. All right, bye, guys. We're going to end the broadcast.